We don't have a system that is perfect now. I've said all along, just rank them 1 to 24 and make that the seeding. And if you can, or 1 to 16 or 1 to 12, stop with the shenanigans about like, oh, this champ team goes in. I'm done with conference championship games. I've been to a lot of them. You guys have been to a lot of them. I'd rather start the playoff earlier. And I think a lot of those things are popular with a lot of fans and some aren't. And so they've got to figure that out.
Into your backyard with a random question. Who lasts longer, Robert Saleh or Josh Heupel?
Ooh.
I mean, Heupel's got a way better core than Saleh does. And so, I mean, I think this Tennessee defense is going to be top 15, top 20. He's got a freshman quarterback or a redshirt freshman, sophomore that's going to be starting. So that's the uncertainty. But the Tennessee roster, if you leave aside the quarterback position, which obviously is a significant one, they're in really, really good shape. They got a lot of 4 and 5 stars everywhere. I think that the University of Tennessee football is in way better shape than the Titans. Look, we got no idea on Cam Ward. We'll see in year 2. I think they overreached for Carnell Tate. Jeffrey Simmons is aging. There's not a lot of I'm a season ticket holder of the Titans. My kids, a lot of times, they watch college football all day Saturday, and they're like, it's okay, Dad. We don't have to go watch the Titans get their brains beat in. And so I would go Hype.
Hey,
Hype might have the option to leave. I don't know that Saleh will.
We get asked for tickets a lot. I'm sure you do. And all things equal, whoever asks first typically gets them. So 2030 Super Bowl in Nashville.
I can't wait.
Just asking if you got a couple laying around when we get to 2030. How big was that announcement for the city?
Transformative. I mean, I grew up in a Nashville that had no pro sports at all. And now we've got the Preds, we've got the Titans. I think we're going to get Major League Baseball. We even got a MLS stadium with a team there. I mean, I think the Grizz would love to come here if they could. I don't think the politics of that's going to happen. And now we've got a Super Bowl. And so I just think it is. And by the way, I don't think this is going to be the only Super Bowl Nashville gets. I think we'll get it, every 10 years or so into the years ahead, because I think Nashville's going to put on a heck of a show. And I think the NFL is going to want to be here. New stadium will be great. But I expect that Nashville will become a little bit like LA, a little bit like Vegas, a little bit like Miami, where it kind of becomes, every 6, 7, 8 years, it's in the mix to be able to host a Super Bowl. So I think Nashville, look, my big thesis in life, if you want me to kind of look at the nation as a whole, is that everybody who can is going to be moving to Tennessee, Texas, and Florida because there's no state income tax here. And the more money you make, the bigger of a difference that is. I can't imagine paying 15% of my income to live in California, New York, or Illinois. And I think increasingly high-earning people are frustrated
Next
with
Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store. Never miss anything from the Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you catch every part of the Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world at any time on the Next Round podcast feed and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Thanks for always making the Next Round a big part of your day.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, live show now as we get going on a Thursday. You get Alabama softball tonight. If you don't like softball, watch this one, 6 o'clock ESPN2. Alabama's great at pitching, 2 virtual All-Americans. And UCLA hit over 200 home runs this year. So it's a great battle of great pitching versus great power hitting. That goes on tonight. We get a Game 6 of Oklahoma City and San Antonio as the Spurs at home try to give us a Game 7. That's 7:30 on NBC. And then we've got a ton of college football to talk about on the show. But we were pretty good. I'm gonna give us a little credit here. We were pretty darn good at laying out what we thought the TV schedules were gonna. We've gotten really good.
I think we watch enough of it. We've gotten
really good, and we get the first 3 weeks of the TV schedule yesterday from our friends at ABC, ESPN, and then as they bleed over into the other networks from the SEC yesterday, and I thought we were really good at nailing this. Do you agree, Brown?
Well, I mean, specifically, I think the one we were talking about was week 2, specifically, because somebody was trying to figure out where that Florida State-Alabama game was going to land.
That's week 3, I think.
Week 3, excuse me, week 3.
And we pegged that one right there at 2:30 on ABC.
That is correct. That's a pretty good day of football.
So we go week 1 first, and this is the ABC lineup, which I think we already had, right? East Carolina at Alabama, 11 a.m. Baylor, Auburn, 2:30 from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And then that prime time game, Clemson and LSU. I think we already had that one.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah.
Week 2 and 3 were the new ones.
Yeah. Then we got to week 2 and 3. Week 2, that ABC main lineup. Arizona State, Texas A&M. That's the first time I really noticed that they were playing each other.
Is that a good game? What's point spread?
I mean, I would think that. Where is the game?
And College Station.
Oh, probably A&M 13.5.
Okay. That's noticeable. It's helmets. It's not Arizona.
Yeah. And Arizona State, I mean, you get more what you got 2 years ago from
Right.
Kenny Dillingham, or you get more what you got last year?
Truthfully, I think Arizona, at least in the offseason hype, is projected to be better than Arizona State this year.
Well, I mean, Leavitt leaves. Noah Fafita is coming back for his 4th year as the starting quarterback for Arizona. So whatever you think of him, there are good moments and there are really bad moments. There's a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to Fafita, but I think the projection is going to be right around the same. Very interested to see. We all know in the Big 12, when media days take place, your number 1 team by far is going to be Texas Tech. Then it's going to be BYU and Utah in whatever order, and then I guess Houston, and then it's wide open.
Yeah, spin the wheel at that point. Alabama, Kentucky, 2:30 on ABC. I thought that would be the 11 a.m. game.
Well, I think when we talked about that, we didn't know because nothing else jumped out as a 2:30 game. Obviously, Fox will have Oklahoma, Michigan on the Big Noon Kick there from Ann Arbor. I think maybe when we talked about this, we talked about Arizona State, Texas A&M feeling like a better game than Alabama, Kentucky. But also Alabama's good TV ratings.
I think Tennessee at Georgia Tech, too. I mean, I know that's going to be prime time.
Yeah, prime time ESPN, but you're right. I think we maybe even discussed that. Would that be an 11 a.m. game?
Yeah. That's
we knew what the prime game was going to be. That was the easiest part of week 2.
Yeah, and then prime time, Ohio State at Texas on ABC. Sneaky good. Missouri at Kansas, 7 o'clock on main Fox.
Friday night.
So that's sneaky good, right?
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a Friday night game. Yeah. So, yeah, you got a good is that the border war?
Yeah.
Missouri, Kansas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Eli Drinkwitz, I think he said the phrase, "We want blood." We're out for blood in that game.
Drink said that?
I think so,
okay.
yeah.
I think one of the fun games is the 9:15 on that Saturday night.
Yeah, more on that coming up. But yeah.
I know 100. He had plenty to say.
Yeah, you may not agree, but Arkansas-Utah could be a fun game. We just don't know what Utah – I don't know what either one of those teams
you got 2 new head coaches.
Brand new coaches,
I feel better about Morgan Scalley.
I think I do too, but
if that game was in Fayetteville, no, it wouldn't be at 9:15, or maybe it would be, but
yeah. No, I don't think it would be. It'd be 8:15 probably.
What is the latest we've had? Didn't we have an 8:45 Alabama Ole Miss?
Yes, Alabama Ole Miss, 8:45, Bryant-Denny. Now, I don't know that 8:45 was the announced start time.
I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah,
I think
at least 8:30.
At least 8:30. I think it got pushed to the maximum that you can push it by the game before.
That was a late-ass game.
Oh, yeah, and then it took forever to play that game. I remember –
LSU Auburn that day, Auburn LSU that day was 2:30 CBS.
In Baton Rouge.
In Baton Rouge. I was at that game, and then I went back to the condo in time to watch all my Auburn friends cheer like they were Ole Miss fans.
They were doing the hotty-toddy.
In fact, I congratulated them after the Ole Miss win. Congratulations on your big win today. I know your school got their ass beat against LSU, but you guys are very happy. To week 3, and this is the one that we'll get to the Yurachek thing here in a second. We got Greg Sankey sound on that. You get now
This is a good day.
It is.
All day ABC. That's the first thing I looked at. What's my all day ABC?
I do. That's what I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, you say it's a good day, Brownie.
It's a good day. It's not a great day. It's a good day.
LT, Georgia at Arkansas. How bad could that get?
Oh, it could get really bad. I think Georgia right now probably a 19 or 20 point road favorite. It could get really bad.
I said good day, not great day, Jim.
You know,
it's three SEC.
I mean, if the electricity stays on at your bar at this point, it's a good day.
Okay.
Florida State at Alabama. I mean,
Oh,
I know we did this all summer last year.
Yeah, let's be careful on this one if you could.
we did it all summer last year.
But again, this is, you get kind of a wake up, I guess. If Nick Saban was coaching this game, and you guys know I love Kalen DeBoer, but if Saban was coaching, I think there would be an internal message where that would be an absolute bloodbath that might end up still being. But that's one of those games you would be surprised. Although Florida State's kind of like Arizona State. What are you going to get this year? Yeah. But you'd be shocked if Alabama loses back-to-back years.
They spun that portal wheel. You don't know how good Florida State's going to be.
Well, I do know Ashton Daniels is their announced starter. Yeah. So I can start right there and say I don't think they're going to be great, Florida State, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, he played better against Vandy than I ever thought he could play.
Right.
Then he showed back up.
Now, the prime time, of course, is LSU at Ole Miss. More on that coming up a little later on, too. Pete Golding had a chance to get the microphone yesterday. So we'll get to that. But there is a chance, hopefully, Alabama's handling business so well against Florida State that we'll be able to get to any of the breaking news that is going on in Oxford. Because I
want to be there early for that one.
I picture at that point them having to interrupt the Florida State-Alabama game. Look at the scene right now as Lane Kiffin gets off the bus in Oxford.
Oh, yeah.
There's couches being burned.
I'll tell you.
There's trees on fire.
Hey, outside of that game, though, like if you remove that game from week 3 is an awful week.
Get ready for more of that in our future, Lance. That's what we're looking at in college football.
I mean, Troy, Missouri, NC State, Vandy, 11:45 SEC Network game. That could be a really good football game. Kentucky, Texas A&M. That's an interesting game. Mississippi State, South Carolina. Florida at Auburn. They got the prime time, Auburn did, in a couple of their games.
Well, big game for both Summerall and Golish early on.
Yeah, early road game for Summerall in conference for Golish.
Both should be unbeaten going into that game.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have like kind of a Mike Elko first year where you're still in contention, in November, that's one of those games. One of those two teams has got to win.
Last time I was at a Florida-Auburn game was a primetime game at Jordan-Hare, and it remains one of the most insane environments I've ever been in for a college football game. Maybe not but one of the most insane. And that's just an old school rivalry. Like old school Auburn fans still, they got a little hatred for Florida. I mean, they used to play every year. Amen corner back in the day with Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
That was the one you got on your knees for because that started the prayer.
That's right.
Of Amen corner.
That's
you
right.
Get on your knees for the Florida game. You put your hands together and you say your prayer for the Alabama game. That was
I tell you, man, week 3 is almost like we try to make a bad schedule.
Yeah.
Like teams aren't even scheduled.
Well, I just wanted to point out our buddy Tom Hart, who's nice enough to come on our show, our longtime friend Cole Kublik, and is it Jordan Rogers? I always mess up the third guy. It's
it's Jordan.
Jordan Rogers, who's kind enough to come on our show frequently.
Yeah,
all three of those guys, wonderful people. Why do they put in prime time on the SEC network with their best crew? If that's still with the slot they're doing, why are they getting Kennesaw State and Tennessee?
You would give them Mississippi State at South Carolina.
You would have to.
I would at least give them that.
I think what they know, they being ESPN, is who in the world is not watching LSU Ole Miss on that day.
Yeah.
So why? And it wouldn't surprise me if Cole and those guys are at Mississippi State at South Carolina if they just give them the earlier game. That crew
they rarely do that.
I know, but they have done it some.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Kennesaw State, Tennessee is the sacrificial lamb. You're like, LSU Ole Miss is the most anticipated game on the maybe national schedule this year.
I don't want to go Hunter Yurachek here. We're about to get to that story. If you're not familiar with it, I'm sorry to tease things that you don't know. But if I am the SEC network, and now maybe in the meetings they're like, listen, our biggest game of the day is in that slot, so let's don't put another good game up against it. Let's put that somewhere else on the schedule. But of the SEC network games, NC State Vandy in prime time is a good football game.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's the business model. Maybe you don't want to put a good game against your main game. In that case, then I would move Tom Hart, Cole, and the crew to a different time slot. I would personally let them do games on ESPN and ESPN2 of the good SEC games on those and get them off the SEC network.
Well, there's a good chance, to your point, and Lance, I think you would agree with this. There's a good chance that the NC State Vandy game is the closer of the two games in that window, the other being Georgia-Arkansas. And State and South Carolina is closer than Florida State and Alabama. I mean,
and give me the Big Ten.
Yeah, I would agree.
Big Ten, Big 12 that day. What the big noon kickoff is choosing from? Do they have a good one that day, or are they stuck with a? Are they stuck with a crappy one?
You do Big 10, I'll do Big 12.
Because you could make a case that NC State Vandy may end up on our main TV in that window at some point.
We're there, huh?
So that may be the business model.
I mean, they are listing right now Kent State at Ohio State for the Big
Lance, that can't be true.
Well, I mean, your other Big Ten network is going to carry Akron and Minnesota at 11 o'clock, and then Buffalo and Penn State.
Your Big 12 schedule.
You're complaining about the SEC Week 3 schedule.
No, I'm talking about the whole schedule in its entirety. I'm not talking about just SEC's got actually better games than anyone.
If you wanted the Big 12 schedule for the noon window or the 11 a.m. window.
More on that from Greg Sankey a little bit later on, too.
The 11 a.m. window, Week 3 is what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Bowling Green at Iowa State on ESPNU, Tulane at Kansas State on ESPN2, and Arizona State in Kansas on FS1.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
Yeah,
but that's in England.
It is not being played in either Tempe or Lawrence. It is being played in London, England.
So weird.
Yeah.
So those are the first 3 weeks TV schedules involving the SEC.
Well,
some good kick times for Auburn, a couple of primetime games at home, out of the heat for the Auburn tailgaters who are my friends. They love that.
Do they? Because I want to comment on that after Lance obviously had an observation. I want to come back to that one.
You don't want the 11 o'clock game. Yeah. You don't want the 2:30 game.
Can I go real quick?
Yeah,
You'll remember your observation. I was playing golf with Jim's not the only one with Auburn golf friends. I've got some too. Was playing golf yesterday with an Auburn graduate season ticket holder, rabid Auburn fan, right? He's not just into baseball because he let me know. I'm not just into baseball, but let Jim know because football sucks. Rabid Auburn fan.
But he is into baseball?
He does like baseball. He told
probably at some point he had an equestrian banner hanging in his office.
He told me if I can remember to circle back to this, a great Hal Baird Auburn baseball story from a buddy of his. Anyway,
legend.
Yeah, legendary Hal Baird. I said, hey, your kick times have dropped for week 2, week 3. He goes, oh, really? What are they? And I said, well, your night game and Jordan-Hare, both of them. And he's like,
what do you mean? That's the
one
you want.
I love night games Jordan-Hare. He goes, I do too. He goes, but you don't have to drive back to Birmingham after them. He goes, it just wears you out.
Oh, no.
He said they were so bad.
I know.
Yes.
So if it's 11 o'clock, you get back home in plenty of time, but you don't get time to tailgate. If it's 2:30, it's too damn hot.
He's like, I love the atmosphere, but man, those are brutal Saturday nights.
It's brutal getting home from Tuscaloosa on a Saturday.
It is, and that's an hour shorter.
But goodness gracious. I mean, everybody bitches about every kick time nowadays. I mean,
no, I don't go. But that's one of the reasons I don't go. Is I don't want to pain in the ass.
11 is too early. You don't have time to tailgate. 2:30 is too hot in September.
2:30 is the right. That's the right one.
Unless you're sitting in the stands in September, it could be hot as heck. Or carrying a camera on the sidelines.
That's exactly what Forrester and I were just saying.
No, y'all have done it.
The drive back from Auburn's bad as a fan. Wait until you stood on the sidelines carrying a camera all day.
And did post game. Yeah, it's like 3 a.m.
I'm just saying, night games. You're lucky to get them in September in the South. Good for Auburn.
Sorry about that, Lance.
What was your observation?
No, just real quick. I mean, that game being played in Wembley Stadium, like London is such an epicenter for soccer. So we're taking our big sport over there, and we're giving them Arizona State, Kansas. I was just wondering what the equivalent would be if they sent a soccer matchup to pick your place, Atlanta, Nashville.
We're playing at Jordan-Hare. Is it next week or 2 weeks from now?
Iceland and Argentina?
Yeah, we're leading in for the World Cup.
It's messy play.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. I'm just saying, like, if you're
if
you're living in London, you're like, oh, we got American football. It's Arizona State and Kansas. It's not the Cowboys and the Jags.
Yeah, what's the EPL equivalent?
It would be like MLS level soccer.
Yeah, it would be their Champions level.
Okay.
But not the Premier League, the Champions League right below them.
So we'd be like, oh, these guys play Tottenham? No. Well, maybe they do.
Yeah. No, Tottenham won.
Okay,
Tottenham safe.
All right.
I'm just
that crowd cannot be good though, right? Outside of Arizona State and Kansas fans that travel.
I don't know.
I'm with you, but
it doesn't make sense to me except for Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, believes that he can eventually get streaming rights and be popular in China and around the world. And that's why the Big 12's trying to do that.
Well, it's $111 get-in. You guys will be shocked at what the biggest ticket on the board is that day.
Is that pounds or?
It's almost equivalent.
Yeah. So, we're in that shape. What's the biggest ticket on the Week 3 board?
The biggest ticket.
I'm going to guess LSU Ole Miss, maybe.
Oh yeah, but outside of that, I mean, that's obvious. It's $487 a get-in right now
For LSU Ole Miss?
Yeah, I find this interesting, and it's the novelty of, I guess it's the new Ryan Field at Northwestern. But Colorado at Northwestern, $335.
No, I don't think they're in Ryan Field yet. I don't think they opened that to Penn State.
Yeah.
I think that's still going to be in the makeshift stadium.
I mean, that's what it's showing, $335 get-in.
Could be Wrigley.
Y'all were talking about that terrible Week 3 slate, or just the bad CBS contract, too, with the Big Ten.
Right.
USC at Rutgers is the CBS game Week 3.
Yeah. Well, Week 2, they get an SEC team, I think I saw.
For the record, USC's never played in Piscataway. So
There's
it's a landmark game.
There's a sales job.
Yeah, there we go. California to New Jersey.
Week 2, the main CBS game, Mississippi State without Dak Prescott, when Dak Prescott used to have him on CBS.
Right.
Mississippi State at Minnesota.
That's the CBS game Week 2?
Yeah.
So Brad and Charles Davis this year.
I know we're coloring outside the lines all over the place here. But Northwestern, it says Northwestern Medicine Field at Martin Stadium.
That's the makeshift.
That's the makeshift.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan Field. It's still named Ryan Field.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the makeshift.
The new stadium will be Ryan Field, and I think it's scheduled to open for a home game in October.
It's Penn State, I believe. Yeah. Is who they're going
Well,
to
maybe this is their last home game.
Yeah, this is it.
at the
Pour one out
Yeah.
for our makeshift stadium.
That is the best makeshift stadium I've ever seen.
It really is. It's a gorgeous view.
I do like it. If you drop your beer, it goes all the way down to the ground like a high school stadium because it's aluminum bleachers. Tell us about Alexander Shunnarah, and then we'll get to why Arkansas is pissed off at the SEC and ESPN.
They are. And Alexander Shunnarah is a guy that will handle any legal claim you have. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com. When you are in need of legal assistance, Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys there to help you. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case with Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. And boy, do they win cases. How about $2 billion recovered for their clients? More than $2 billion now recovered for their clients. That is winning, my friends. That's what Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys do. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case with Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. You start right there at Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. We tell you all the time, guys, early detection on any health issue is so important, especially when it comes to prostate health. The success rate of dealing with prostate issues goes way, 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 way up when you get early detection. That's one of the things you can get from our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. They offer a variety of things. To see everything they offer, go to their website, urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com. We have a lot of 20-year-old, 30-year-olds who start with our show here every day, or when you get home, or when you're running or working out in the gym. It may seem like not a big deal in your 20s or 30s, but early detection, stay on top of that, as you move from your 20s to 30s to 40s and 50s. And they offer testosterone treatments as well, vasectomies if you get to that point in life, and everything in between. 70 years of compassionate care right here at 10 locations in Central Alabama. Make an appointment, 205-930-0920, or see everything online at urologycentersalabama.com. All right, so Hunter Yurachek is the AD there at Arkansas. And if you pull back their TV schedule, week 2 and week 3, they're not happy because they play a road game in week 2. They're choosing at Utah, Arkansas at Utah. They scheduled it. And then they come back in a conference game, and they play a home game against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So when you do the TV times, okay, if you're ESPN, I got a SEC name playing at Utah. Let's throw that in the 9:15 window. I don't blame ESPN for that.
Great window.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
I yearn for good games that I want to watch in that window.
We don't get many conference teams playing conference teams like that anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you never get SEC out west.
No, SEC playing an old Pac-12, now Big 12 team. But
now on the return, their travel says they'll get back to Fayetteville at 6 a.m. Central Time.
That's believable.
On a Sunday morning. And then they have to play the following Saturday at 11 a.m. Hunter Yurachek says in a open letter to the world that he's a little upset about that. That basically takes a whole day away from Arkansas's preparation from Georgia, with recovery time and travel time and all of that to get ready. They were hoping for a different kick time. I think they already knew that the 9:15 game was going to happen at Utah, right? You know when you schedule out west as an SEC, you're going to get that. They were hoping for a different kick time coming in Georgia at Arkansas. Here is Greg Sankey, before we react to that, getting asked yesterday at the SEC meetings in Destin about Hunter Yurachek's objection to Arkansas's scheduling kick time. All right, we'll get back to that here in a second. While we're doing that, let me tell you, our friends at Innisfree gives you our Innisfree countdown to kickoff. 93 days until the countdown to kickoff with our friends at Innisfree, your game day tradition. Innisfree Irish Pub in Tuscaloosa and Lakeview. Irish-inspired pub food, the signature Irish gold sauce, and always a world-class atmosphere at Innisfree. Innisfree countdown to kickoff is 93 days. Lance, you were going to make a point.
No, I was. Just real quick. The Big 12 that day was in a little bit of a bind. Or I guess ESPN, ABC was in a little bit of a bind because, and I don't know how all this works as far as times and things like that, but two of the bigger Big 12 games are 6:30 Central Time kicks head-to-head. You've got the Cy-Hawk Trophy, Iowa State at Iowa, is a primetime NBC game. Fun little game, by the way, for primetime.
Never
NBC.
get it at primetime.
I know. That's
usually
normally 11
o'clock.
a.m. Yeah.
That's part of
sometimes 2:30, but always.
Yeah,
no lights on.
always with God's light.
It being in Iowa means it's a
NBC,
part
Big Ten,
part of the Big Ten package.
And then Texas Tech that same day is at Oregon State and CBS because they have the rights to whatever Oregon State's affiliation is now.
The Pac-12.
Pac-12. They've got those rights. That is also a 6:30 kick. So if they were to put Arkansas, Utah at primetime, you would have three Big 12 games going on at the same time. So as we just talked about, is that good business for the Big 12 and for ESPN to go head-to-head with three games at the same time?
No, they want something in their 9:15 window, and any chance they get to put name brands from the SEC or Big Ten in the 9 o'clock window.
Right.
It's the flip around to the 11 a.m. game that's the problem. Hunter Yurachek has more of a problem with ESPN and the SEC because of they can control that a little bit, and they wanted a little protection from the commissioner. Are you ready for this, Brooks? No, we're still.
I don't have it fixed yet. I can't.
Okay. I saw you had it queued up. I was just checking.
No, I got to
get it ready. We'll keep talking.
Computer.
You had a thought about it. What do you think?
I think Hunter Yurachek is upset. I don't think this is about player safety. And look, you always want an advantage, and a few hours here or there can create an advantage. I'm sure you've got examples of teams playing in this same kind of time frame week in, week out. He's pissed off because he's got an 11 o'clock home game against a huge brand. And that doesn't give them the opportunity to maximize a Fayetteville window. Weekend.
I see how you're attacking this for the home game prime time in Fayetteville.
They've got a better chance of winning the game. They do. I mean, because the crowd is going to be much more whipped up into that frenzy. You have all day. It's early in the season. They're probably going to be coming off a loss, but you're still undefeated in the SEC going into conference play. I think he's just upset 11 o'clock home game. How many ADs like 11 o'clock big home games?
None. None. They complain all the time. I mean, LSU's complain louder than anybody.
Yeah, and this gives him a crutch to complain because he is playing a 9:15 game the week before.
Yeah, but there again, as we just talked about with my Auburn golf buddy that was not furious. He was just cool. It's a late night. It is hard to make everybody happy with kick times. It is not hard. It is impossible to make everybody happy. There is no week in the SEC where Greg Sankey could say, hey, by the way, every AD in the league's happy with their kick time this week. Yeah. That's not going to happen. Every AD in the league's going to be pissed about one of them.
I like 11 a.m. on the road because the crowd's not as good.
Exactly. But, lottery winners typically don't complain. But you remember Ohio State coming off a national championship. Their fans bitching about all the 11 o'clock games.
Yeah.
I mean
and they like 11 o'clock in the Big Ten more than we do. But I don't know why they prefer an 11 o'clock kick a lot. They're used to it. We've we've always liked the 2:30, maybe because we got used to it with CBS, but we love night games here in the South.
I do.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact of the matter, you can't maximize as a fan an 11 o'clock game. The experience. You can't.
If you talk to Kirby truthfully, if Kirby was 100% truthful with you and he said, Kirby, you're going to Fayetteville, Arkansas, week 3. Do you think you'll win the game? Kirby, if he was being 100% truthful and not doing coach speak, he'd say, yeah, we're going to win the game. Would you rather play it at 11 a.m. or 6:45 p.m.?
Not even close.
He would say, give me 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Our guys sitting around the
Yep.
hotel all day. Their fans sitting out there drinking, getting louder
That's right.
and louder by the hour.
There's not a place in the SEC that is better at. You'd rather play them at 6:30 than 11 a.m. You'd want to play anybody.
Well,
at
maybe
11 a.m.
Vanderbilt, just because their fans by 6. They're like, let's go to the bars.
Yeah, it's mostly
like, I
my
know we were
fans,
going to go to the game,
Yeah.
but now that we've been sitting here tailgating, maybe it makes more sense just to go to Broadway.
If I'm Georgia or Tennessee or Alabama, it's mostly my fans at Vanderbilt anyway, so I got to worry as much about my fans as anyone in that situation. But yeah, I mean, Kirby in its most truthful moment would say, I'd rather that game be at 11 o'clock. That's why I agree with Lance. That's really Hunter Yurachek. I think it's less about travel concerns and more about this will be the biggest game we play at our stadium this year. I assume, I haven't looked at Arkansas' schedule, but I'm going to guess Georgia coming to Arkansas is their biggest game, and it's 11 a.m.
And again, I don't think there would be this statement if there wasn't the 9:15 game. He feels like he's got an easy argument coming off of that.
They got a decent home schedule, though. Tennessee's still coming there, but Georgia's by far, and LSU's coming there.
And LSU, but still, Georgia's
their biggest game, and he's like, here's my biggest conference weekend, and you're making me kick it at 11 a.m. ESPN. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now
that might be one of the better conference home game schedules, though.
Yeah, that's not bad. Missouri, South Carolina, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. That's not a bad home schedule.
Do you think they win one of those games?
No.
Our friends at Kalshi brings you part of the show here, and we'll get to more reaction from the SEC meetings yesterday, including what Pete Golding said and our thoughts on his battle with Lane Kiffin and his battle now with the NCAA. He has thrown down the gauntlet to the NCAA. He has challenged them. He's drawn a line in the sand. What Pete Golding said yesterday. Coming up, our friends at Kalshi allows you to take a position on anything in sports and pop culture.
Yeah, available legally in all 50 states. Canada now in a major corner with the Canadians dropping that game now down 3-1 to Carolina. Hopefully you took a position on the Hurricanes and the under last night. You can take a position on a huge Game 6 tonight, Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City on the road against San Antonio. Must-win game for San Antonio. To take a position on that, first thing you need to do, download the app Kalshi, put in that code TNR. When you trade $10, you get $10 back. But it's not just sports, Brown.
It is not. Yeah, you can play San Antonio at 60%, Oklahoma City at 41% right now for that game tonight, Game 6 at 7:30. But you can also play crypto. You can play commodities. You can play climate, finance, tech and science, elections, politics, trending, pop culture. You can play anything you want right there just about at Kalshi. Legal in all 50 states, Kalshi.com and the Kalshi app. Code TNR gets you $10 on your first $10 position when you sign up with our friends at Kalshi.
We've communicated.
Back with you on the next round as we continue on today, 93 days away from the start of the college football season. Show number 1205 today being brought to you in part by our friends at Inverness Country Club.
The Inverness Country Club, Brown.
Yep, I'll be there.
Did you play yesterday?
I did.
But not at the Inverness
Country Club. Not at Inverness Country Club, so it'll be good to be back home today.
Hopefully the weather is going to hold up. But, hey, look, if you're interested in a country club membership, this place you got to check out because they've got memberships that fit everyone, from that incredible pool for the entire family, childcare, also such a big plus right there on location. Think about having dinner in that newly renovated clubhouse while they watch your kid. Just amazing options there, Brown.
Yeah, it is. And you can get a tour of Inverness Country Club. Get all the information, iccalabama.com. That's the website, iccalabama.com. Or our friend Aaron, 205-991-8608, 205-991-8608. That's the number to call if you want to set up a tour and see Inverness Country Club for yourself. She'll give you a great tour, and you'll find that the best days happen at Inverness Country Club, and it can be your club home. Play where the next round plays. Inverness Country Club, iccalabama.com.
Okay, so we're good on cuts now? Nobody,
that played, so we can give it a shot.
Okay. Just so we'll know how to move forward here. Let's go first the one we teased several times. Let's go back to cut 11, Greg Sankey on Hunter Yurachek's objection to Arkansas's schedule. Here's the SEC commissioner.
We've communicated the displeasure in advance. It hasn't changed. That's one of those points of authority that's given to our broadcast partner. And the squeeze on the West Coast game, we don't have to do what other colleague conferences do by comparison. And then the squeeze with an early kickoff is not something that I'm thrilled about either, but we do delegate that authority as part of our TV contracts.
Yeah, so it's out of the SEC's hands is what he's saying.
Because ESPN funds this whole operation. So, ESPN at some point they've got to reserve the right to say, if we're going to pay this kind of money, now we'll pay less if you want us to pay less, and you can control the kick times. Or we'll pay this kind of money, and we'll have full control of the kick times. It's your choice. And the SEC said, we like that money right there. You tell us what time we're kicking off. And, you can't blame ESPN.
I think the SEC's doing the best job that they can. Look, you've got to find slots for all of these games.
Yeah, I personally thought, when we did this scenario, this exercise a few months ago, I thought Florida State, Alabama would be the straight out of game day.
11 a.m.,
It'd be on ABC, but on ESPN, they'd be like, hey, here's Keelan Russell and Austin Mack warming up. They've been, sharing snaps through the first two games, the big win in the SEC. Now they're at home. We all remember, Nick, what happened last year in Tallahassee. Don't forget that's on ABC coming up right at the top of the hour.
Right.
Yeah, so I thought that would be the 11 o'clock game because of the storylines. My friends who are Alabama fans, they're excited. 2:30. It's not 11 o'clock, hot as hell, but they get to tailgate.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we've got the one window anybody wants.
But to me, if as a TV partner, I would have chose to put Alabama at 11 a.m. in that situation. Florida State, Alabama, potential blowout, but enough storyline early on that you could get some national.
And you would have Georgia, Arkansas at 2:30. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think I would go Florida State and Alabama at 2:30, just based on the fact that if Alabama would have won the game last year, the blowout potential, but because of the storyline of Alabama losing that game last year, and Mike Norvell is on the hottest seat of anybody in the Power Four.
I'd have put Georgia, Arkansas at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern on ESPN, opposite of LSU Ole Miss. And I would put Florida Auburn on ABC at Jordan-Hare Stadium at 11 o'clock. You're wasting Florida Auburn opposite of LSU Ole Miss. When I say wasting, not obviously for Auburn or Florida fans.
No, but
for the nation.
Yeah.
That Florida Auburn atmosphere at 11 a.m., two undefeated new coaches, such a big game, 11 a.m. with Joe Tess on the call. That's a meaningful game. That'll be a lot better game than Georgia Arkansas should be. And I would have put Georgia Arkansas. You're wasting
but a more
Florida
meaningful national game is Florida State, Alabama over Florida and Auburn.
Yeah, but I would have had one of those games in place of. I'd have had Florida Auburn in place of Georgia Arkansas. Georgia Arkansas doesn't deserve to be on ABC that day. When you've got Florida,
doesn't deserve to
be.
But
Georgia right now is a bigger brand than the combination of Florida and Auburn.
Okay, I agree with that. But to your point, what do ratings do when one team's up 21 points?
They do.
If all the viewers have got Georgia minus the points.
Yeah, I mean, that does
might
help
be able
you.
to hang on.
That does help you a little bit. But the other factor here is, what are you going to turn to? I gave you the Big 12 schedule that day. Not great, right? We're what are we, week 3?
Yeah.
That's week 3 we're talking about. I gave you the Big 12 schedule. Lance gave you the Big 10 schedule. I mean, your choice is if Georgia-Arkansas starts to be a blowout, I get to go watch Bowling Green, Iowa State.
Yeah, you're wasting a good Florida-Auburn game opposite of what everyone in the country is going to tune in for, LSU and Ole Miss. You're wasting Florida and Auburn. And Georgia-Arkansas is not as big a game to me as Florida and Auburn is. Just from a TV standpoint, Florida or Auburn or Florida State Alabama would have been at 11. The other one would have been at 2:30, and then LSU Ole Miss. I probably would have started.
So if you're John
Florida,
Cohen
Auburn.
and Scott Strickland, do you call Hunter and like, hey, we'll make you a deal?
Yeah, we'll trade.
No, I mean, you're happy, like as you always say, you're happy. All the restaurants in Auburn are happy. They get all day Auburn fans before a late night kickoff. I'm just saying, from a viewer standpoint, my TV standpoint, I'd rather have Florida Auburn on ABC at 11. Florida State, Alabama at 2:30, and then LSU Ole Miss. That way,
I think that's because of where we originate from.
If I was sitting in Dahlonega, Georgia,
Ride that mine train.
I would rather I'd rather watch Florida Auburn at 11 than I would Georgia Arkansas. It should be a blowout.
Florida Auburn's going to be a good game, don't you think?
A hell of a game.
Yeah, I mean,
it should be.
I mean, very tight point spread early on. I think that'll be a fantastic football game. I like having it in prime time. I'm like Jim. I don't like having it in prime time versus LSU Ole Miss. LSU Ole Miss is the most anticipated game of the season, probably.
That's probably about 10, 15 more minutes than I wanted to spend on that, but the TV schedule is out. Let's get to the Pete Golding thing. Reaction to that after LT tells us about Lance's lock. He's been on fire, and he's got a chance tonight to do a little Thunder Spurs Game 6, 7:30 NBC.
Yeah, another winning day for you yesterday, 4-2 at lanceslog.com. We're killing it for you. Jump on board. We have got Game 6 of Oklahoma City and San Antonio available tonight. More Major League Baseball. Jump on board and win with us. Free play every single day. It is brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trusted name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all the plumbing, heating, cooling issues, home or business. They're ready to serve you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, our buddy Trey Wallace, who works with Outkick, covers SEC sports, is in Destin. In this interview in the hallway, a group of reporters, but Trey's in there, nice enough to give us the sound here. Pete Golding gets asked about Lane Kiffin's comments on if he had still been the head coach, that they would have been at least in the national championship game. Hey, welcome to Destin, Pete. Did you see where Lane said? Here's Pete Golding on if Lane had stayed as the coach, they would have at least made the national championship game.
Well, I don't think you're going to find any coach saying, hey, they were better off with me, with me not being there. I don't think you're going to see any football coach say that. So, no, I don't think that had any impact on why we didn't win the game in Miami.
So no impact at all from Pete Golding. He handles this all so well.
He handled that very, very well. He could have said a lot of things there and poured even more diesel on this fire, and he chose not to.
I just think the approval rating for Pete Golding, not only with Ole Miss fans, I don't know about you guys, but somebody asked me, and I'm like, I think my favorite coach in college football is Pete Golding. He's never really, outside of being kind of the interim coach in a postseason run, he has yet to coach his first regular season game, but he's the guy I'm pulling for. And on the opposite side of the likability is Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, no, it is an interesting dichotomy with Pete Golding because I do think that is some of it is he's replacing Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
And Lane is a villain, and Pete appears to be the guy that is the white hat coming in and running the villain.
Yeah, everybody, not just Ole Miss fans. Hey, we want Ole Miss to succeed without Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, now State fans are the ones that are not in that boat, and probably LSU fans too because they got Lane. But otherwise, I agree with that. I think the rest of the conference is like, I'd kind of like to see Pete Golding be successful as long as it doesn't come at the expense of my favorite team.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Ole Miss every game except when they play us.
Yeah, that's right.
Pete Golding also was asked about what Steve Sarkisian, basket weaving, said about Ole Miss, and what Lane Kiffin, the history of racial unrest in Mississippi, those comments, and how he took all of that. Here's Trey Wallace with Pete Golding again.
Basket weaving's been a subject too.
It's a hard thing to do. Have you ever tried it? Yeah. No, I haven't. But no, obviously from an academic standpoint, I don't have to sit up here about, what Ole Miss does and all that. I don't think anybody has to defend that. So I think that was a little out of context. Obviously, Sark hit me right after that happened. It was a month prior. I think the timing of it, kind of piggybacked, the other one or whatever like that. But no, I'm not worried about any of that.
Did you talk to Steve about it?
Yeah. I mean, he hit me as soon as it went public. Look, this was a month ago, no point intended. We all heard the basket weaving deal growing up and all that type of stuff. So he said he was just trying to talk about Texas and how hard it was and all that type of stuff. So I told him I appreciate it. I said, I don't know if I'm a transfer. I'd much rather take basket weaving than biology. So I appreciate your help and your support. So yeah. No.
Did Lane hit you up after the Vandy Fair stuff the way Sark did?
Lane hits me up every day. So I get 12 text messages a day from Lane. It's just what do I decide to look at as well, So I was not looking at that one, but no, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. I love the way Pete handled all of that. And I in this day and age, Pete's probably right. Sark helped me in recruiting more than he hurt me.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I'm a high-powered recruit, I'd rather take basket weaving than I would biology.
Yeah, I don't know if people expect by asking him the question that he's going to say something sensational. But the fact of the matter is Sark indirectly does help him.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, Kiffin taking the LSU job gave him an opportunity. When was Pete Golding going to get a head job, much less an Ole Miss-like job?
It was not going to be an SEC job.
It would have been an Ole Miss-like job.
So, he has got to be thankful that Lane Kiffin did all this. So, people might say he's biting his tongue. Well, I mean, he's grateful.
Do you think he really gets a handful of texts on a regular, not every day, but on a regular basis from Lane?
Here's what I would say. I think my gut would tell me, and I have no information on this. We've got a very good mutual friend that is one of Pete's best friends, and I have not even asked him this, so I have no earthly idea. I would suspect the relationship between Kiffin and Golding is better than we probably think it is because they spent so much time together.
Oh, in Tuscaloosa, I think they hung out.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they hung out, and they spent a lot of time together in Oxford and won a lot of games together. And I'm sure it was a great situation for Pete. He got to coach the defense. Lane coached the offense. Pete was almost like an assistant head coach, Lance. But any good relationship that has some fractures in it, it's going to hurt it. And there's got to be fractures. I mean, let's don't forget Lane, when Pete became the head coach, there was a lot of question about who would be able to coach in the playoff games and all that. And Pete, I'm sure, was having to fend Lane off from stealing players or at least getting players to jump in the portal and coaches to come join him. So there was going to be some fractures there. But I bet it's a better relationship than it appears.
I agree with you. I think it's probably a pretty good relationship. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up going sideways if Lane continues to say things. And as we get closer to September 19th, will they always have this kind of relationship? I don't know. I think this rivalry could get really, really nasty, especially if Ole Miss can maintain where they're at right now.
I don't think that guy we just heard right there is going to be the reason it gets nasty, though. I don't think Pete wants to pour any fuel on this fire. And to my knowledge, he has not done that, at least in the situation with he and Lane as it relates to that game, has poured any fuel on this fire. So I think Golding is probably trying to avoid it, and I think there's part of Kiffin that just wants to make it as big a circus as he can absolutely make it.
You held up your phone earlier. Do you have any breaking news?
No. I was making sure you saw Brooks' text.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Coming up later in the show, Danny Kanell is with us. He'll be with us hour number 3 at 11 a.m. Central Time. Danny Kanell, hour 3, 11 a.m. Central Time. If you watch us or listen to us live on the show. We'll get back to football to start the next hour. But big news for Alabama basketball and other programs yesterday. But as the NBA draft deadline happened, Amari Allen is coming back to Alabama. What does this mean to you guys? Now 6'5.5" officially, Amari Allen coming back to Alabama.
Well, first off, I think it makes the most sense for Amari Allen because I do think he's got an opportunity now to cement himself as a first-round guy in 2027. For Alabama, you bring back a guy that is familiar with the system, both sides of the court, really good defender, a guy that, will get better and better. I know he's shooting for 2010. I think he's more 16-7. That's still a huge asset for Nate Oates, and I think he's going to be, one of the top 8 to 10 players in the SEC coming back next year.
Yeah. I would like to know where we stand with Aiden Holloway. We being just a general term, where Alabama stands with Aiden Holloway.
Well, that's the next big piece. If you
Yeah.
get Aiden Holloway back, now you got another starter. Amari Allen was a starter, so
That's
now
right.
you get another starter back.
But if you're starting backcourt, if Allen is more of an on-the-ball guard, as has been reported, now I don't think Nate Oates has said that publicly, but it was a CBS Sports report that Amari Allen said he had been told that
Kevin Sweeney, Sports Illustrated, now says he expects to have the ball in his hands a lot
ball
more.
in his hand more. So if you're starting backcourt is Aiden Holloway and Amari Allen, that's a pretty good start for Alabama right there.
Well, that was my point. Amari Allen last year had to play a little out of position at times because of Alabama's lack of interior.
Didn't have size.
And now you've got Clore from, I think, NC State, Davis Fleming from Mississippi State, Garrison from Kentucky. Some of the recruits are bigger guys, 6'8" guys. So you have a taller team to where Amari Allen can play more his natural position, that sort of off guard.
Yeah, and back to that potential matchup or the potential backcourt for Nate Oates with Aiden Holloway. I said weeks ago I really believe that I'd be very surprised if Amari Allen stayed in the draft. I'm going to be very surprised if Aiden Holloway is not in Alabama's starting lineup week one.
Day one, game one.
I'm kind of with you because I think he would have been in the portal if he didn't think he was going to be, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the market would be because
I think the market would be good. I just think it's Alabama or not all when it comes to the legal part of it now, because I think Alabama has stood by him through this whole thing.
Yeah.
If he's legally able to play with the court of law, I think he'll play at Alabama.
As Rusty says, this could be Nate's biggest team he's ever had, his tallest team he's ever had. Yeah.
I can't give credit to who I saw it last night. Somebody, maybe it's Tide Hoops on Twitter, somebody was breaking it down that this is the tallest team, every position that Nate will have down there.
It's going to be a fun trend because
everybody
feels like they're bigger this year. So you've got all of these bigs, and again, a lot of this is based on Florida's success the last couple of years and obviously what Michigan did this past year.
Aiden Holloway's not 6'1", though. So when you're doing those things and you have Aiden Holloway at 6'1",
no, he's 5'11".
He's not 6'1". He's not 6'1". He's my size.
With the hair, like Fletch.
Yeah, like Fletch with the proper hairstyle. Maybe he hit 6'1".
But those long athletic recruits coming in, the guy that's the Diaz kid that's sort of reclassified and is coming in now.
Jackson Richardson. I mean, that's a very fascinating guy for them.
Yeah. They've got a lot of guys who are coming in and ready to roll in Tuscaloosa. So good for them. Also yesterday, Vandy gets Tyler Tanner to come back. 19 points per game. That guy was hard to stop at Vandy.
That's your potential SEC Player of the Year. I would say he's in the category preseason for SEC Player of the Year.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was fantastic last year. So what a get for one of the best Vandy teams we've seen in quite a while to get that type of guy back.
Nate Bargatze, put him on the tab too.
But maybe so. I mean, I'd be calling Nate up and I know you're happy about football. We can win in basketball too.
Tunde Yesufor from Baylor is out of the draft and not going back to Baylor. He's going to St. John's to play for Rick Pitino. And then there is a guy that's on the market that was considered to be the best shooter in college basketball last year, Milan Mosolovic.
Let me guess, Illinois.
Huh?
Illinois.
Yeah. No, Iowa State's where he was. But he's in the portal. And according to the guys at Field of 68, it's down to Kentucky, Louisville, St. John's, and Arizona for him, but he was considered to be the best shooter in college basketball.
I remember at a point he was like at 54, 55% behind the arc. I don't know if you've got the number there.
I don't. I just have he's considered to be the best shooter. That would make him one of the best shooters.
I'd say 54 would probably have him there.
So he's floating around out there if anybody wants to get a good NIL package together quickly.
So St. John, you said St. John's, Louisville, Arizona, and Kentucky?
Yep.
Where would you go if you were him?
Probably
Arizona.
Looking at that group right there, I would choose either St. John's or Arizona.
I think I would too. I think that'd be my two.
He ended up at 49%.
49%? I mean,
depends on how good I am defensively because Rick Pitino's going to demand a little defense. But Koa Pete surprised everybody and stayed in the NBA draft. So that opens up a little point scoring there at Arizona. But that's basketball. But good news for Alabama and Amari Allen getting another year from Amari in Tuscaloosa. The last mock drafts had him going, some of them 32nd last pick to the Memphis Grizzlies, 31, 30, second round early on. So really no consensus of him being a first rounder. So he makes the choice to come back. Philon I saw somebody the other day saying LeBaron Philon may be the most underrated player in the draft. Not saying he's the best player in the draft, but the one that maybe is going to exceed expectations when he gets to the next level.
If he had Amari Allen size, he'd probably be the number 1 pick, wouldn't he?
He'd be close.
He'd be close.
If he was 6'5"?
Yeah, if he had just had Amari Allen. I mean, what do you think he really plays?
He's 6'1".
6'1"?
Yeah,
Okay.
6'1", 6'2".
Well, you give him Amari Allen's size, and he might be the overall number 1.
But I still think we might have a little bit bigger Jalen Brunson on I think he's got that kind of potential.
Well, now Becky Hammond says you can't build a team around that.
Yeah.
She may not be wrong about that, by the way.
She may not. But
her response.
She'll be watching them lose in the NBA Finals.
Yeah. I mean, her response was prove me wrong, but when she said if your best player is a small guy, you cannot win an NBA championship. And I started thinking, okay, who has won one? Who are their best player is a small guy?
Iverson played for one.
Yeah, but he didn't win it. That was the first one I thought of. And
Yep.
I was like, AI was 6'1", maybe, but they didn't win it.
In fairness, when she made those comments, they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns and some other players that have grown into their position. But Cat's addition has been huge.
He's a great compliment.
That's
and
right.
He's a double-double every night. But, I mean, obviously the alpha, not even close, is Brunson.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson, I think we'll start talking about, like, if they pull this upset off.
Greatest Nick ever.
The greatest Nick
Oh,
ever.
wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's Patrick Ewing, but I think number 2 is probably Jalen Brunson.
So Frazier has already been bumped.
Yeah.
Was Frazier number 2?
I mean,
Frazier at least has the NBA championship.
You can make that argument.
He handed them the Eastern Conference championship trophy the other night.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Carmelo was really good.
People that know Walt Frazier
Starks,
are aged out.
That's true. Yeah.
Charles Oakley was really good, but I mean, Jalen Brunson right now is your second best Nick of all time already.
Wow.
I'm old, and Walt Frazier was old when I was, just learning sports. Walt Frazier was a legendary old name that doesn't play anymore. And so there's a lot of Nick fans who don't know when and don't know Walt Frazier.
Brooks, I don't know if you can find this, but I saw somebody sent me this morning. Speaking of the all-time great Patrick Ewing, there's a post, and I think it's the Skyer brothers, the guys that used to be on
Sklar brothers.
The
I used to
Sklar
like
brothers.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, Patrick Ewing has turned into Sanford and Son. He looks like the combination of both Red Fox and whoever Lamont. I forgot the kid, the actor's
Damon
name.
Wilson, was that his name?
Maybe,
yeah, something like that.
But I mean, it's a great photo. But you're like, damn, he does look like Sanford and Son.
That's hilarious.
Brown, pull up while he's pulling that up here. Pull up who the Milwaukee Brewers play on this weekend series coming up.
Okay.
What a wild game last night for the Brewers.
Yeah, 6-0 they win. The relief pitcher closes it out and starts doing hip thrusts towards the bench. His manager Pat Murphy not happy about it.
I would hope he wasn't happy about it. That is, I mean, of all the unwritten rules in baseball.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about Brewers yesterday, where Dusty May had a no-hitter going into the 8th, and they end up losing the game 2-1.
Okay. All right. That's a tough loss there. I guess when was the 6-0 game where they ended up?
I guess that was 2 nights ago, maybe.
There it is. Forster's already found it.
Yeah,
he does kind of like Sanford and Son. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good.
A little more like Lamont, but you know, you got a little Red Fox
with a
gray
great
in there.
beard.
Yeah.
Lamont wore those hats a lot.
He did. I think that's why you say that, because of that hat. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Brewers are at the Stros, Jim. Why do you ask?
Okay, Milwaukee's at Houston. The other Pat Murphy coaches Alabama softball Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll win tonight for Alabama because the double elimination. They may not make it to Sunday. More between tonight and Sunday. Who has more wins this weekend? Pat Murphy Brewers, Pat Murphy Alabama softball.
Brewers are the better team. Actually, I'm going to say
Alabama's the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah. I will go.
How many did the Brewers play? 4 games or 3 games? They start tonight, or is it just Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, then we'll cap it at 3.
So the next 3 games.
Both 3-0?
The next 3 games, who gets more wins? I'll go Alabama at 3-0, Lance. I don't think the Brewers will sweep the Astros in Houston.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think it's a better chance Brewers sweep the Astros.
Do you really?
Yeah. Tonight's game scares me for Alabama. 200 home runs plus, 200 plus.
That's a lot.
Yeah. They got a couple of players that were part of 3 players that hit the NCAA record number of home runs this year. So 6 o'clock ESPN2. Vic Moten, the All-American freshman, and Jocelyn Brisky, the first-team All-American pitchers for Bama against UCLA's Bats tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN2. Softball all day long from Oklahoma City. Baseball starts tomorrow, both in Tuscaloosa and at Auburn. Before we do the viewing menu, the number 1 overall seed in the baseball tournament that starts tomorrow, it's more chaotic than the NCAA March Madness. No number 1 overall seed has won baseball since 1999.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah. And
I mean, I guess that's not I mean, there's some
one.
shocking isolated situations like Tennessee. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago, where they were so good going into the tournament, where we thought they were unbeatable? Was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Do you guys remember that Tennessee team?
Yeah. They look like they were unstoppable. It was just a given, and they did not.
They didn't make Omaha.
They didn't make Omaha.
Yeah.
They got knocked out in there. I can't remember. It was a big surprise. Obviously, somebody knocked them out in the supers in
Was it
Knoxville.
Notre Dame?
I can't remember, Jim, but it was such a big surprise. Yeah.
Is it UCLA this year for us? It's the number one overall. Yeah, you nodding? Yeah. So UCLA is the team on the clock.
I heard them discuss.
Baseball.
Yeah, I heard them discussed yesterday on the golf course, oddly, by an Auburn fan who wanted to remind you he is an Auburn baseball fan year round. He was like, "Man, I doubt UCLA."
Same.
Yeah. He said, "I do." Because what is their record? They're like something and 4 or something like that. And he goes, I just doubt the level of conference baseball in the Big Ten. How can you play that many games and have that few losses in a good conference? You can't be that much better than everybody else.
Plus, you're in a conference that most of the league doesn't get outside until 1 week before the first game.
Yeah, I mean, pitchers and catchers can report and freaking whenever they want in Westwood.
Yeah. So that's the difference. All right, we'll do the viewing menu later on in the show. We'll get back to the SEC meetings. A ton of stuff continuing to pour out of there, including Alabama's Greg Byrne defending his extension of Kalen DeBoer. And Steve Sarkisian hates the number 12 when he talks about the playoffs. That and one guy who says the SEC is the deepest conference by far, and that stands alone. All still to come before we get to Danny Kanell 1 hour from now on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Hoover Toyota.
Hey, if you are in the market, used or new, our friends at Hoover Toyota, they've got the best inventory out there. Stop in, see Scott, Kim, Harold, all the fine folks conveniently located Highway 150. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. They've been doing it for over 20 years, serving not only Birmingham, Alabaster, Vestavia with new and used cars, best inventory, on-site finance department. I'm speaking from experience. Financed my daughter's car back in December of 2024. I got in a Land Cruiser this past October. They are the best when you're looking
at
for
that Tundra, man.
Safety, reliability, something that's going to hold its value. That is the Toyota. Stop in, see the fine folks there. For more information, hoovertoyota.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hop in. Injured in an Uber or Lyft? Here's the problem. Was it the driver's fault? The other car? The app company? Good luck figuring that out while you're trying to heal. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, they've got a guy for rideshare accidents. And here's the best part. They don't get paid unless you do. You heal. They fight. One call, 659-777-7777. Or visit alexwins.law. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Because rideshare accidents need an experienced team. Physical office is Birmingham.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Never miss anything from the Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you catch every part of the Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world at any time on the Next Round podcast feed and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Thanks for always making the Next Round a big part of your day.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off.
Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Rolling on now to hour number 2 on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. They'll bring you trash later on the show. Always enjoy them by the lake and by the great golf, or, of course, by the pool all summer long. Our friends at Bud Light. We go back to the SEC meetings here and some of the conversation that came out of that. One of them was Greg Byrne talking to ESPN's Heather Dinnish about, as it was played, defending his contract extension of Kalen DeBoer. Do you think that's something Greg Byrne should be having to defend right now? I understand the phrasing, right?
Yeah, I mean, so if he really was defending it, and I have not read the article, so I don't know, but if that's the way it was put forward, I understand Alabama fans who look at it and like, why are we extending this guy based on what he's done on the field? And I have no problem with that. I think it's a legitimate question to ask. Why did he get a raise? Why is he getting extended? I think you just have to accept the fact that it wasn't at all based on what he's doing on the field. It was based on the fact that there were at least 2 programs that Jimmy Sexton convinced Greg Byrne were serious candidates for him to leave for, and Greg Byrne weighed the option of getting back on the coaching carousel or paying what it takes to keep my guy, and he chose paying what it takes to keep my guy.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is just because I kind of agree. Like, I don't think DeBoer deserved a raise. I think he did a good job this year, and I thought the team was better, but I didn't think he deserved any kind of raise. But, you know, if you've got the leverage and you've got teams like Michigan and Penn State, programs like that coming after you, I mean, it's just the game that you have to play.
See, when you say convinced that Jimmy Sexton convinced people that Michigan and Penn State were after, do you not believe they were after Michigan? Michigan was after him?
Oh, Michigan wanted him.
I believe Michigan wanted him.
I do.
Yeah, I don't think this was one of those old James Franklin ploys.
But I think it requires Jimmy Sexton to 100% sell Greg Byrne on the fact that we'll leave. We will leave here. Don't think we are anchored down here and there's no chance of us leaving. If something doesn't change, we'll leave. Now, you believe that, right?
I do. Yeah, I do believe
whether he wanted the job or not, whether Kalen DeBoer really wanted the Penn State or Michigan job, Jimmy Sexton 100% sold Greg Byrne on the fact that he wants them.
Yeah.
He'll leave for them tomorrow if we don't get what we want.
Well, there's 3 reasons you get a contract extension. Mm-hmm. One is absolute success, right?
Yep. Kirby Smart.
The other is when somebody else wants you.
Yeah.
You always get a contract extension if somebody else wants you.
Right.
And the third one is usually when it impacts recruiting or the perception of your program. And there has not been a time in modern day football that I think you ever let a contract get to 4 years. We always stayed at 5 years.
Well, and to your point, those three things, I think it's a combination of all three.
Yeah,
for
100%.
DeBoer.
It was, but he would have gone into this year this would be his fourth year. He would have 4 years left on his contract if he had not gotten an extension.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen in college football. Now, in the old days, it was because of recruiting, right? You wanted to be able to tell your recruit, I'm going to be there your entire time. Now, usually for the recruits that matter now, that's 3 years.
Well, and
so maybe
for
you
those
got an
recruits,
extra year.
They're not going to be there anyway.
That's right. It's a different time. But it's very common not to get under that 4-year window in a contract situation.
Yeah, it
that
is.
rarely happens.
Yeah. But I guess to my point, this is why from now on you're always going to hear rumors about Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian going to the NFL potentially. Because Jimmy Sexton knows there's not another college job I can leverage against Georgia or Texas for Kirby Smart or Steve Sarkisian. Texas is never going to believe that Steve Sarkisian will leave Texas for fill in the blank. Yep. Michigan, USC. Well, USC is a bad example for Sark, but you get what I'm saying. Georgia's never going to believe that Kirby Smart's going to leave Kentucky or Georgia. God, my God, Ryan. Georgia's never going to believe Kirby Smart's going to leave Georgia for another job, right? I mean, so you're always going to say, yeah, Steve Sarkisian might like to go coach in the NFL. Well, that's how you have to play the game if you're Jimmy Sexton wanting to leverage these other jobs.
I think this year it's much easier to pick who's going to get a contract extension in the SEC than who will get fired. Because I really think there's only one or two guys that possibly could lose their jobs.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys, including, Pete Golding, back to him. Like if Pete Golding goes 9-3, he's getting a new deal.
That's right. That was part of our buy or sell in the SEC last week is that buy or sell, no coaches being fired this year. That's in play in the SEC. Here's what Greg Byrne told ESPN's Heather Dinich on one of the reasons why Kalen DeBoer got a contract extension. One of it was the improvement. They went to the playoffs. They won a game. I also believe, says Greg Byrne, the idea of changing your coach every 2 to 3 years is absolutely ludicrous. And when you have a coach that you believe in, like we believe in Coach DeBoer, you want to have stability in that, and you will have a lot of really good times, and you'll also have challenging times too.
And let me be clear. I'm not saying Greg Byrne does not believe in Kalen DeBoer. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying when your coach is up for another job, you have to make that measurement. Am I willing to get back on the coaching carousel and see what happens? Or do I believe in enough in my guy that I'll find some common ground between us and the agent that he'll stay where he is?
Well, and you say you're not saying that he doesn't believe. I think Greg Byrne still believes wholeheartedly.
100% I do.
Well, so let me ask you guys this. Do you think Greg Byrne, after hiring Kalen DeBoer a couple of years ago, if you would have told him this is the way the 2 seasons played out, I think that's about what he thought. Do you think Greg Byrne thought, hey, I think within 2 seasons, Kalen DeBoer is going to win a national championship?
I don't, but I think he thought they would have been deeper in the playoffs by now.
I don't know about that. I think this would have been probably what my bottom expectations would have been, Like this
maybe.
I could see this being the scenario or above.
Well, here's what I would say. Like, I'm still surprised they didn't make a 12-team playoff 2 years ago. I'm not saying they deserved it, but I'm just saying
that's my point.
We never thought you would be in a world where they weren't a 12-team playoff, but winning 11 games last year, playing for the SEC title, winning a road playoff game. I mean, those are things that a lot of people aren't doing.
But
right
I will tell you this. If you could jump in a DeLorean and go back to the athletic director's box the night in Tuscaloosa when Alabama was up 28-0 on Georgia, I think Greg Byrne would have been like, this program may not drop at all. Like, there may be no drop-off at all, because I know every Alabama fan was thinking that. So I guarantee you Greg Byrne was thinking that too. I mean, there were early signs that, hey, this thing may not drop off at all.
Oh, the aggressiveness before that game at Wisconsin on the road before the half.
Yep.
Instead of just going into the locker room with the lead, throwing the ball deep, getting that quick touchdown right before the half, you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, easy win at Wisconsin, and you come in and you're up 28-0, and Georgia can't do anything. I mean,
defense is eating their lunch.
You have shut them down, and your offense is moving the ball at will on Kirby Smart's defense. I guarantee you in that athletics director's box, Greg Byrne was like, buddy, I
don't smoke cigars, but does anybody have a cigar?
Just struck gold right here.
To Michigan, I think Michigan really wanted DeBoer. I think he probably entertained it. And they end up getting a really good coach in Kyle Whittingham. But I think either you or both believe that Whittingham is kind of a bridge, a Band-Aid.
Stopgap. Dunaway thinks a 1 year Band-Aid. I think a 3 or 4 year Band-Aid.
I think it's more 4 or 5 because I think he's that good of a coach. But I think they looked at DeBoer, and that's why they wanted DeBoer more than Whittingham, is they thought that Whittingham, hey, this is limited. We get DeBoer, this could be our next decade.
Yeah. I'm less on Whittingham being a stopgap now that Kalen DeBoer has a new contract. I think there was a scenario without a new contract from Greg Byrne, to put a bow on what we're talking about here, that he was in play to be top choice at Michigan if another year played out. If Marcus Freeman goes to the NFL, I think if Lincoln Riley fails or goes to the NFL, I think Kalen DeBoer will be first call USC, first call Notre Dame. Would be the first call Michigan if Whittingham was just a stopgap.
Here's what I would say if I Greg Byrne as well. The other side of this is, okay, we don't give him an extension and he takes one of those jobs. You tell me who I hire that is definitely better than him at Alabama. And you guys just give me a name.
Well, fans would say if we'd have done it, we had made a move in a timely fashion, we would have been in on Lane Kiffin.
I am not willing to say Lane Kiffin is obviously better at Alabama than Kalen DeBoer.
I agree.
No, I think Alabama fans could have lived with Dan Lanning, but I don't think Dan Lanning would have left Oregon to take the Alabama job.
But even if he did.
He had a chance to do it to replace Nick Saban.
Even if he did.
Would he have said yes a second time?
Yeah, even if he did, in the next 2 years, do you think Dan Lanning is better than one made playoff and a 1-1 playoff record and playing for an SEC championship? I'm not willing to say he absolutely is.
Do you believe Dan Lanning was offered the job before DeBoer?
When Saban retired?
Yep.
I do believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Do you not?
I don't, but I mean, that possibly. I don't know why you would hire Dan Lanning over Kalen DeBoer when Kalen DeBoer ran circles around him head to head.
Maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't in the room, but I
mean, if you've heard that, I've never heard that.
In my belief, it would have been Kirby Smart. But Kirby Smart's not going to leave his school. But Kirby, do you want it? And then I think Dan Lanning would have been my next call. I never really believed Mike Norvell over Kalen DeBoer.
No, I don't believe that either. But maybe not job offer, but maybe kick the tires just to see,
would you be interested?
Would you be interested in? You're probably doing that with several guys.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, I think you probably did it with both DeBoer and Lanning. And DeBoer was probably like, oh, yeah, I'm interested. When can you be to Seattle? And Lanning was probably more,
I mean, for Greg Byrne not to kick the tires on Cignetti probably should be, talk about losing his job.
No, he says that jokingly. Nobody knew who Kirk Cignetti was when Nick Saban retired.
He'd already taken the Indiana job. You're like, yeah, we don't want that guy.
All right, let's do the spotlight here. Before we do that, our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Leslie, her board-certified team will help you out. And also, if you've lost some weight already, either through Way to Wellness or just your normal, workouts and such, and you want to maintain that weight loss, several ways to help you out there. Just go to a planforme.com at Way to Wellness. I use these protein bars to help. I have one for breakfast during the week. Big breakfast is on Saturday and Sunday, but a protein bar with a cup of coffee on work days here, one in the middle of the show, one in the mid-afternoon. It keeps me from bad snacking to where I'm not grabbing the popcorn or the cookies or the ice cream too much. Way to Wellness can jumpstart your weight loss with injection therapy as well and a lot more. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation's free. A planforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
The College Football Spotlight
is presented by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah. Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Whatever your need is. They're not just personal injury attorneys. I know he's made his name in that field. But also fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, workers' compensation, employment. The list goes on and on and on. Basically, whatever your legal needs, start with Alexander Shunnarah. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case with Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. And they have done that and done it and done it. More than $2 billion recovered for their clients. That is $2 billion. That is an incredible amount of money. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
All right, so you get CBS Sports, Tom Fornelli, ranking the coaches. We were just talking about them. One guy's opinion, CBS Sports. He does it every year, though. Kalen DeBoer, a top 10 coach on this list or not?
I will go Tom Fornelli being prisoner of the moment. saying no.
If Fornelli,
top 10.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
He's got to be top 10. Got to be. Yes.
Top 10.
I know. I think we make knee-jerk reactions to these things. And
I think the only person that doesn't have him in the top 10 is Klatt.
I don't think Mario Cristobal would have been in the top 10, so somebody is going to have to fall out because we're going to knee-jerk reaction here to Mario Cristobal catching fire in the playoffs.
Kirk Cignetti is number 1. Kirby Smart is number 2.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm good
Ryan
with that.
Day is number 3.
No problem.
Yep.
Marcus Freeman is number 4.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, me either. Dan Lanning is 5.
I mean, he's done nothing but win. He's been in the playoffs. He's won a Big Ten.
Don't know how you have him over Kalen DeBoer, but
Steve Sarkisian is 6.
that's a joke. That's an absolute joke.
I told y'all.
Yeah.
Mario Cristobal is 7.
I told you we knee-jerk on these things.
It's a bigger joke.
It's a bigger joke.
Now, in fairness, I think he does power rankings for this in the Power 4
So
conference.
it is definitely prisoner of the moment.
This is going into this season,
Right.
not your whole career. But when I get to 11, you may question that. Number 8 is Kalen DeBoer.
Okay.
Number 9 is Lane Kiffin. And number 10 is Kyle Whittingham. Back to y'all's point, I'm bringing this up.
Well, I don't know where you guys are going to have it. I know I'm higher on Whittingham than you guys, but when we do this combination ranking with the SEC and the Big Ten, I think you'll see how high I am on Kyle Whittingham. I don't have a problem with him being in the top 10. Probably deserves it.
So 11 is who got bumped for Mario, so I'm going to need to know this.
Dabo Sweeney is 11.
That is certainly portrait, not snapshot for him.
But I don't, much like people when, I said, months ago, Cignetti is the best coach of this era. And I'll stick with that. And there's other people jumping on board with that. But much like it's this era where we are in a 12-team playoff in NIL, Dabo's not a top 10 coach in this era. If we're doing complete resumes, absolutely he's above these other guys. But what's going on right now with Clemson is not worthy of top 10.
If you start 2024, where you had full NIL and a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been to the playoffs once and he hasn't been.
Yeah, and I think if you're doing it like that, then maybe I have Lanning over DeBoer.
I feel like you focused heavily on Dabo's past and ignored Mario Cristobal's past.
Right.
Dabo's at 11 because of his past, and you completely ignored Cristobal's past to put him at, what did he have, 6? 7, whatever
Mario's
Cristobal
7,
was? Yeah.
Right ahead of Kalen DeBoer.
That is the example of Miami and Mario Cristobal is the biggest knee-jerk example of college football that I can see and have seen in forever.
I mean, again, we've said this a lot on this show, but I firmly believe this. If the College Football Playoff Committee doesn't do what was probably the right thing and put Miami in over Notre Dame because they won head-to-head, but if they don't do that and they leave Notre Dame in and say, hey, we're going to play TV ratings to keep Notre Dame in this thing, I legitimately think Cristobal is coaching for his job this year.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, and that's how that one playoff run changed things for him.
I'll give you all the SEC here for the top 50. He only does 50. But you tell me before I give you the actual numbers, in the top 50 or not.
Okay.
Pete Golding.
He shouldn't be. Guy's only coached 3 games.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
Okay. I'll give you the answer in a second.
Okay.
Will Stein, top 50 or not?
Guy's never even coached a football game. No way he's in the top.
Yeah, no chance.
Alex Golish, top 50 or not?
No. 50 best coaches in America.
Top Power 4.
Yeah, I mean, Golding's going to be over Golish with everybody.
If we're just going Power 4, I would say Golish is probably top 50.
I don't think he is.
John
maybe.
Summerall.
Yes.
Summerall will be, yes.
Shane Beamer.
Yes. I mean, Power 4, how many coaches are in Power 4?
68.
68. Yeah.
69, I believe.
Yeah, so you got to make the – yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to say yes on all these.
Yeah.
Oh, yes on all of these.
I'm going to go back, yeah.
Well, I want
probably.
on Stein.
Not on Stein.
Stein's never coached a game.
And I think that's going to be the easy out. Is this Fornelli?
Yeah.
The easy out's going to be guys that have never coached.
That's right. Which is a legitimate,
Yeah,
by
it
the way.
is.
That's a legitimate –
Dabo's 11. Here are the SEC. Mike Elko, 14. Josh Heupel, 19. Eli Drinkwitz, 23.
Drinkwitz is so tough just because he's
so well respected.
He's well respected, but I just look at the numbers and I'm like, boy, I feel like he's just an 8-win coach.
We never say this with him, but who are his big wins?
No, he doesn't have a lot of big wins, but still they are 8, 9 wins
State
every year.
No, you cannot count that. Well, Ohio State was starting a guy at quarterback that was wearing number 22.
33, I think.
30, whatever it was. That should alone eliminate that win. You can't count it.
They're saying that guy might end up beating Julian Sayin out this year.
What? That guy's still there?
I've heard that.
No, wait a minute. The guy that started that bowl game is still there?
Yeah, Klein Colts.
Was that who that was?
I think so.
I thought he was the quarterback. There's one Ohio State quarterback that is transferred to another school that is battling to be the starter. And is it Ohio? Is it Missouri he's at? Has Missouri got an former Ohio State guy battling?
Oh, I thought Austin Simmons was
Kevin
the Missouri.
Brown is who started the.
That guy's gone.
Okay, this is the Lincoln Holtz kid that I'm talking about from South Dakota.
If I could just quickly say this, just real quick.
Okay.
Weber State now.
Eli Drinkwitz has coached 50 conference games. Good, solid number, 50 conference games. What do you think his record is? What do you think your record should be to be a top 25 coach at Power 5?
I don't know, but I think his record is 26 and 24.
I was going to go 28 and 22.
It was 26 and 24. I mean, he's barely over 500.
No, but I think that warrants it. I mean, it's in the SEC. I mean,
okay.
How many coaches right now in the SEC don't have over 500?
We got 4 that have never coached an SEC game, to be fair.
5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I got 9 more SEC coaches that are behind him, though. Brent Venables, who is in the playoffs, 28th, 5 spots below Eli Drinkwitz.
Venables is coached in the playoffs.
Yeah, Venables should get more credit than Drink.
Probably, but do you honestly believe he's a better coach than Eli Drinkwitz?
I don't know. I mean, defensively, is he a better head coach? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
If I'm driving a beat-up 74 pickup truck and you're in a Ferrari and you're beating me down the street, are you a better driver than I am?
Yeah. Well, I think Missouri's a little better than the beat-up Ford, but I got your analogy.
Back to signature wins. I mean, he's beaten Alabama. He's beaten Texas.
He has, but he's also the coach at Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oklahoma's the Ferrari game.
Yeah,
Eli Drinkwitz is driving a 74.
No doubt.
It's a top 5 program of all time. Oklahoma is, I think.
I'm not a degree of difficulty guy, but I do believe this guy's a good coach. Clark Lee is 29.
He is so hard to rank because he's doing stuff at Vanderbilt that has never been done.
Yeah, I would have him over Drink.
Yeah. Would you have him over Venables?
No.
Wow. 36th overall, John Sumrall.
It's about right.
It's probably fair. I mean, it's hard to compare Troy and Tulane's success to what the rest of these guys have done.
Yeah, I think you've got to look at – I mean, Sumrall's been better than Golish at that level.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've got to look at what they do where they were. And
I have no problem with that.
To take Tulane to a college football playoff is impressive.
Shane Beamer, 40th.
Probably about
all
right.
the Power Fours.
One good year.
Alex Golish is 45th.
I'm fine with that.
Jeff Lebby, not in the top 50. Will Stein, Silverfield, and Golding, not in the top 50. Golding won 2 playoff games.
I would have Golding higher.
But I mean, the guy has coached 3 games as a head coach, and it was a team.
All against top 25 teams.
No, he's got a good top
2-1 all time against the top 25.
I'm aware.
I mean, it's going to be tough back to people like Golding. I think he's going to get a little inflated because of that. And he does have playoff wins, though. Like, how many guys on that list in front of him don't have playoff wins?
He does have playoff wins, but they're playoff wins in the same sense that Tua Tagovailoa led a team to a national championship.
I still give him credit for that.
Well, most people don't.
Well, because without Tua, they don't win the national championship.
You're absolutely right. Without Golding, I guess they don't field a team in the playoffs because they don't have a coach left. But I don't know how much credit he gets for them.
By the way, in a 12-team playoff world, Kirby Smart doesn't have what Pete Golding has.
That's true. He's got 0 wins. Yeah.
And Golding beat him head-to-head, right?
He did. In their one game, he did.
Hey, where was James Franklin on that list?
Okay, I'll have to.
I'm just wondering.
Franklin. Where would you have him?
I would have Franklin close to the back end of the top 25. I mean, again, no signature wins, but I mean, he still won a lot of games.
Yeah,
I mean,
bunch of them.
He's a Eli Drinkwitz on steroids, but back to your point with Venables, he's behind the wheel of a better car.
Listen, we're video thing, and I didn't give this to Forrester. It'll just be easier if I just do like I did in the radio days, and people said don't read the whole list, but it's just easier than to answer 18 questions.
Yeah, it's always my fault.
So here we go. No. I'm just saying.
I mean, I am interested.
I mean, if I'm riding around sometimes, I'm always, if I'm riding and listening to something.
Yeah, we don't want you to Google it.
I'm going to be driving around going, God, I wonder where so-and-so is. So let me just give it to you quickly.
What's worse, Googling or texting when you're driving?
Googling.
I don't do any.
On my
CarPlay, I just say, like I'll go, hey Siri, what was the Tampa Bay Rays score today? And it'll pop up on my screen, the score. It'll actually say it, but it'll pop up on the screen.
If you watch the ticker, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but I'm driving.
You got to dig through those WNBA scores.
Here we go. Dabo Sweeney is 11. Kalani Sitake is 12. Tom Fornelli, CBS. You okay with Sitake?
I'm loving that Sitake is finally getting love from the national media. I'm a little surprised, but I like it.
Yeah, it took him turning down Penn State to get it.
It really did.
James Franklin is 13th on the list.
That seems high.
Right ahead of Mike Elko. Rhett Lashley with a bullet at 15.
I mean, again, a guy that has consistently been an ACC contender. He's been in the playoffs once already. I'm okay with that.
I never thought it would work
didn't
out.
either.
I like Rhett a lot. He's been nice.
We
He's
do.
been on the show. But
we love him.
And he's done a great job.
Yeah.
Matt Campbell, 16 at Penn State. Lincoln Riley, 17.
Lincoln Riley is too low. Matt Campbell's about right.
Fornelli, with respect for this guy, too. Willie Fritz, 18th on this list.
It wasn't immediate success at Houston the way I think most people thought it might be for him. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I need to go back and look at Fritz. I mean, he's a likable guy, but how many really good years did he have at Tulane? I know he had one really good year with Michael Pratt at quarterback.
But did Summerall do better at Tulane than Fritz did? He did.
Yeah, jumped 23 spots.
Damn.
In this list.
Fornelli must have met him in the offseason.
This may be
Very
all
nice guy.
because they're giving me the high and the low here. So they may have used all their CBS analysts here. Josh Heupel, 19th. I gave you that one. Kirk Ferentz is 20th. Joey McGuire, Texas Tech, 21.
I mean, I know he's taken them to the playoffs, but he's also had some he's got a chance to really rise in this because he's got all the resources now he needs.
Yeah, or is he holding them back? Kenny Dillingham is 22. Eli Drink was 23. Braum is 24. Brett Bielema is 25.
Well, you want to talk about knee jerk. Kenny Dillingham, at 22. He was way higher than that last year.
Hey, real quick, back to Joey McGuire, though. What is the difference between Joey McGuire and Mario Cristobal?
McGuire's doing it at traditionally a worse program.
Yeah, I mean,
that's really the only difference.
But both proceed to have a lot of money, right?
Yeah, a ton of money.
And both of them were pretty average until they got that money.
And so Cristobal, or did they play for the national championship because of his coaching?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a dominant defense, their ability to run the football,
and he has done pretty well in the quarterback transfer portal.
Yeah.
Michelson brings us our viewing menu today. You watching anything of instance?
I started something new, and it was, oh my God, I'm going to pull a Dunaway here. It's on Apple. It's a, oh my gosh, it's a new series. Very, very intriguing because it is wild. It's about a divorcee soccer mom.
It's
she's watching. I didn't know they're called Camboys.
Extreme Pleasure. Something like
that. It is wild. She's got this relationship. Again, she recently divorced. She's fighting for custody of her kid.
In the trailer, it says that's not your first dead body. Is that in the trailer?
I don't know if I saw the trailer. I just came across it.
Maximum pleasure guaranteed.
Maximum pleasure guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's got this relationship with a Camboy. And
I was one of those back in the day.
When they're having one of their sessions, he gets attacked live on camera. And then it goes into this crazy ass this backstory. But
according to the trailer, she seems to black out at times.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen 2 episodes. I think you guys would like it.
Yeah,
it's wild.
No, it's queued up. Yeah, Off Campus is really good. I mean, if you're a 22-year-old female looking for a good soundtrack, Off Campus is really good.
This feels like Emily in Paris. I feel like you're pitching it really hard. No, I just meant the way you're pitching it.
No, it is very Emily in Paris. It's very good.
I've got a podcast I'm watching real quick. I'm doing the video portion of it to add to the viewing menu. Pablo Torre Finds Out is part of the Dan Le Batard Meadowlark. He may have split off for them. I don't know. But he is
very liberal for a conservative Brown. Go ahead.
Oh, is he? I have no idea.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with politics. But he is exposing Oz the Mentalist that has been on this show.
Oh, have you seen the whole story?
Yeah.
I knew the guy was a fraud.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, yeah. Well, when he came on the show, some of the things people talk about, I'm like, I wasn't here the day he came on. But I heard the stories, and I'm like, ooh.
I got awkward with me, and I didn't mean it to get awkward. I mean, Devin Neal, I'll never forget, was the player I was thinking. And
So did you see how people started being like, whoa, time out? he
completely exposed.
He's on Bussin' with the Boys. That is Taylor Lewan, and who's the other guy? Will Compton. And he's asking them to think of the NFL player, and Will Compton is thinking of Breece Hall, and Dr. Oz the mentalist, is like, Bryce Hall. He's like, yeah, Bryce Hall. That's the one you're thinking of. He's like, no, it's Breece Hall. And they got kind of awkward, and they're like, but man, you got close just to get that close. And it's like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Well, what happened was Will Compton Googled Breece Hall and spelled it wrong.
That's right.
And so Oz, for whatever reason, gets the other spelling and goes with that.
He got the Bryce Hall spelling. So that's like, he tells you, he gives you this. He did that with Oz. He gives you the
site. He's not recovering from this one.
No,
sadly.
He gives you the website, and he goes, okay, go to this. I just want to make sure you don't tell me the name, but go to NFLstats.com and make sure he's an active player. That's all I need to know. Well, you go in and you type Breece Hall. That goes to Oz's phone, so he knows who you're talking about. Compton accidentally types in Bryce Hall. So that's the one that goes to his phone. So that was where Pablo Torre's like, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. So he gets all these magicians like, no, this guy's a total fraud, man. So they're all exposing
all magicians
him. I know.
Have a shtick.
Yeah.
You can't let people behind the curtain.
I know, but why are we choosing to expose this guy?
I don't know.
And not
I don't know, but apparently
how the lady gets sawed in half and all of that.
He apparently has for some reason upset the magician world. And the magician world is probably because of his level of success, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of jealousy.
Oh, but the guy who used to make things disappear didn't piss people off?
No, it's all sleight of hand. I mean, there is no such thing as magic. It's all sleight of hand.
Like Chris Angel was doing some crazy stuff visually.
Yeah.
But it was fake.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Now, Oz doesn't need to worry about it. I would just continue to go to corporate meetings and, what he was doing in Hard Knocks. I mean, those were wowing people.
Yeah. Enough that you knew it wasn't real. I never thought it was real. I just didn't know how he did it. But I've always been entertained by it, so I don't really care, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would never have outed the secret.
Well, the magicians
they didn't mean to.
Yeah, Michelson Laser Vision brings you our friends at Michelson.
205-969-8100, the number I called way back in 2003. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK surgery in the state of Alabama back in 1995. Make that phone call that I made. Ask for Amy Toa, the next round Cynthia. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 for more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter @ScottForresterTV.
We interrupt this program for breaking news. From the gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, we fight back. We have the resources, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats all in one place, nextround.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know, you might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all of your favorite Next Round gear by visiting nextround.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at nextround.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from nextround.store. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Back with you on The Next Round. By the way, Tiger Woods, it's official now, not in the U.S. Open or the British Open, coming off of a DUI incident earlier this year. He's not going to play in either of those. SEC meetings yesterday, mandatory sports gambling education now for all SEC athletes. They made that announcement. They already do a lot of stuff, but now a mandatory.
The Sorsby rule?
We used to do this in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Where you had to do mandatory sexual harassment training. You know, there'll be a video you'll have to click through or something like that, or a meeting you'll have to go to and sign a sheet that you were there. But it'll be mandatory for all SEC athletes now, and I think that's a good thing.
When it was, we unfortunately lived through that in our corporate situation. There was a lawsuit, and all of a sudden we had to do sexual harassment training. And I was like, I don't know if you noticed, but I was not named in the lawsuit. I don't know why I'm sitting here.
Love those cheesy videos, though. Dude,
I know.
Throwing a pencil on the floor where his coworker will go pick it up.
Should Fred have thrown the pencil on the floor in front of his tight dress wearing coworker?
No, just ask to see her ass.
If Diane has a banana sitting under her desk, should you reference it?
I mean, that was the funny thing. Is just like when we watched it as a group, like the cat calls and different things that were going
on. But now we do have a Senate bill that has been introduced. It's boring. Danny Kanell, not boring, top of the hour. Tell us about Crane U, and then I'll just hit some of the high points of the Cruz-Cantwell bipartisan bill and some of the things that I think are good about it.
Yeah, our friends at Crane U want to remind you, if you're curious about a career in the crane industry, the first big step is getting certified, becoming fully compliant. Crane U is here to guide you every single step of the way. Crane U is your all-in-one destination for crane certification success. They guide you through every step of the process, from comprehensive preparation, both in and out of the classroom, to ensure you're fully equipped for even the toughest exams. Then they will streamline your experience by administrating both the written and hands-on test right there at their facility, so you can get certified with confidence and convenience. Inspections, training, certifications, whatever you need, Crane U's got it handled. It's the one call you make, and you're good. Make sure you tell everybody up there, whether it's Nicole or Francis, The Next Round sent you. For more information, craneu.com. That is craneu.com.
The Protect College Sports Act, bipartisan, Senator Cruz and Senator Cantwell, 111 pages, one-time transfer, 5 years of eligibility.
Don't have a problem with either.
Like both of those. The Kiffin rule that's being called, coaches cannot leave mid-season. That if you're coaching a team, you got to stay until the end of the team unless you're fired.
Okay, so what's the penalty for that? I mean, how do you enforce that one? How do I tell Lane Kiffin and his agent Jimmy Sexton, who's got a better job than he had, that you've got to stay until your team finishes? And that could be mid-January. And LSU, I'm sorry, you can't have your coach in mid-January. I mean, how?
Well,
That's not enforceable.
And that's not equitable. Like, okay, we can fire you in the middle of the season, but you can't leave us in the middle of the season.
Another part of it is the CSC is able to enforce without legal challenge. You'll be able to appeal within the process of the CSC, but without legal challenge. So there could be a penalty of Kiffin, the next school he's going to, if you leave early, that maybe there's some penalty on the other side to be enforced by the CSC, enforced without legal challenge. That also would violate salary caps or any of that. The ability to pool television rights together, and you only have to have 70% of the 138 Division I schools to be able to pool them together. So the 75% is huge, because if the SEC decided not to pool and the Big Ten decided not to pool, you still have 75% of other schools to where the other 75% could pool their TV rights together and get one TV contract and dole it out over all the non-SEC and Big Ten schools. If they think that the money would be greater for them at that point, I don't think it would be. But
I don't either.
But if they wanted to negotiate it that way, maybe multiple deals with all the streaming, whatever.
Seems complicated.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
But here's the one that impacts basketball the most. Of all those, it was mostly, were thinking football.
Okay.
Ban of professional players, including international players.
It's crazy you have to say this, but all right.
Yeah, if you've ever gotten a salary to play, not counting prize money, but if you've ever gotten a salary to play, you are banned from college athletics.
I mean,
this would change the college basketball world right now.
Now, are you grandfathered in?
Yeah, you would have to be.
I don't know that yet.
LSU could not field a team this year.
Right now, they have very few. All the announcements, none of them are eligible right now.
But yeah, I think you would have to grandfather it in. If you do that, I mean, if it's a rule and it's equitable, I mean, everybody's got to play by that rule. I don't have a problem with it.
No, it has to be grandfathered in. You can't.
Well, then you got to grandfather. When are you going to grandfather the 5-year rule then?
I don't know, but I'm just going to hear my side of this. You can't allow the NCAA can't allow these schools to go convince these kids to give up a professional spot in Europe and come play basketball for me, and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't let you play now. You got to go back and find a spot in Europe." How is that fair to those
kids?
kids?
To your point, though, how do you grandfather the 5-year? This is going to be much like COVID, but I think, let's say that this thing got passed for 2027. Well, anybody coming into 2027, you got the 30, 32. If you were in before, then
it's easier to grandfather in the 5-year than it is the no professional player. But now here's the thing. If my professional player is the first year on my roster, he's got 4 more years. It's going to take forever for all of this to work its way through the system.
Again, it's going to be COVID-like.
Yeah, but
if this even gets.
Who could not have seen this coming? How they ever agreed to this stupid European pro rule? Who could not see this being an issue down the road?
Yeah, I think it started one way and it is gradually.
It always
worse.
does, though.
Yeah.
It always does.
The first one was probably an 18-year-old.
Yeah,
and then it gradually.
But you remember the European invasion when it came to the NBA draft, and we got to a point where it was nothing but Euros coming over. Like, if this doesn't get put into play, all we're going to do is have this influx of European players over the next 2 or 3 years. It's just going to be more and more and more every single year with the money.
I would not grandfather anybody in. I would do it, boom, right now.
Let me ask you this, though. And this is a genuine question I am asking you, and I want you guys to answer genuinely.
It's going to be tough with the roster you've already got built for this year, though, but I see your point.
Class didn't start till August.
Who do you think over a 3-year period has made more money to play basketball? Your top-level American AAU player or a European player?
Probably AAU.
I would think so, too. So now we're going to make this rule. Now, you've opened Pandora's box, and I think it was a stupid rule to say, well, European kids don't have college. This is their, professional basketball is their college, so they're just coming to play for us. But who's made more money to play basketball, Jim, do you think? The top-level AAU player or European, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old European player? It's your AAU player. That's the answer. I asked you the question.
Maybe.
Use the example if LeBron was back in school, and we remember watching him on ESPN2 with Akron, 3, 4, 5 games. A guy at LeBron's stature in today's world it is no telling what agencies would pay him.
That's right.
Prepay.
Just to have him on his AAU team. Yeah.
But now we live in an era where the NIL is legal. And there were players, no doubt, coming up through the ranks when they were high school kids that
100%
got paid from
by
Nike
the
or
shoe
whatever.
companies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was the dirty side of basketball recruiting.
But I don't think you would have a majority of those guys.
Oh, no, I said top level. That was my point, was top level. Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there were a lot of European guys who made money that came over here that the American kids have not. And the 5-year rule, there's a lot of guys waiting right now, hoping this passes so they're eligible for next year. They want that one more year. And I think a handful of rosters have those guys that are out there. That's the Senate Cruz-Cantwell bill, 111 pages. Doesn't make everybody happy. It doesn't do enough. Has a small antitrust protection, which is huge right now when it comes to the legal world. Our friends at Central State Bank, Brownie, tell us about Central State.
Central State Bank's the bank that is big enough to meet every need you have, but they are small enough to know you because they're a great community bank. The people that are making the decisions that impact your life at Central State Bank are people that go to church in your community. Their kids go to school with your kids. They live in your community, go to the same ball fields you go to. That's the people that are making the decisions that will affect your life. Central State Bank, family-owned, community-focused, built on trust. For more than 100 years, serving Shelby County and Tallapoosa County with local decisions and personal service that feels like home. Central State Bank, rooted in community, driven by relationships, member FDIC.
3 more sound bites before we get to Kanell from the SEC meetings. First, the SEC championship game. The number that has been, I'd heard $50 million is what the SEC made off the game. The number's been tossed around. Destin this week has been $100 million is what the SEC makes off of that game.
Pretty big gap.
Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin, their thoughts on the SEC championship game.
I love the SEC championship game. I've been a big fan of that. I grew up watching it. I've talked about it many times, almost ad nauseum. I mean, the first time they ever played in Birmingham, I was in high school playoff playing a Final Four football game and watching Florida and Alabama play. And at the time, that was like a childhood dream. Long time since then, and a lot of changes since then.
Yeah, I don't have a lot on it. There's certain subjects that come up that I really feel strong on. I think that one's hard to figure out, because, he can say he loves the game, but did he love it when he lost his, quarterback in the game? So, for the playoffs. So there's things in that there's good and bad to it, and I think the variable of what is the playoff and how many are in it and what is that seeding like and how many automatic before, I think you need to know that, in my opinion, before you make the decision on the championship game.
I think he's more Byrne than Tan.
He got out there too much.
But you remember back in the day, like we didn't have all of the sunblock you have. You roll out there and you get that one really good burn for the season, and then you would just go. He looks like he's got his initial burn.
Base. It's his base.
Okay, yeah. But he's kind of sweaty too.
So here's the thing. I understand what Kiffin is saying about, Kirby says he loves the game. Did he love it when he lost Carson Beck at the end of the first half against Texas? If you had a 16-team playoff, Georgia would have been playing a game that same day. You tell me Carson Beck absolutely was not going to get hurt in that game either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's easy to say, well, we don't need an SEC championship. Well, if we don't have an SEC championship game, you're adding another game.
Yeah,
all those teams are going to be playing another game.
Like this wouldn't even be a question if it still had the pizzazz that it had in the past. It has nothing to do with that injury. That's easy for a coach to be able to roll that out.
Right. But and to Kirby's defense, I don't think he's ever said that.
But going back to, Kirby's, watching Alabama and Florida, that SEC championship game, was he referencing 92?
I would.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah. So he's referencing 92. In all of those games, can you guys remember a monumental injury outside of Carson Beck?
Not really. No, I can't think of an SEC championship game injury that well, Tua,
there might be one.
Tua got hurt against Georgia, but you had Jalen Hurts as your backup, and Tua had almost a full month to recover before Alabama played Oklahoma.
And if Tua doesn't get hurt, there's a good chance Alabama loses that game, right?
It's a good chance. Hurts was the one that brought him back. Yeah. But, that's the only other one I can remember. But to close that gap, though, Tua did come back. He played against Oklahoma and then played against Clemson, but he was ineffective.
Didn't the Bryce Young game, didn't Alabama lose one of their receivers in that game?
John
Mechie.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a pretty big one. Yeah.
No, I mean, that cost him a national championship.
I would say that was big, yeah.
Okay, just
But you see my point, right? If you're not playing the SEC championship game, you're
you are
still
playing
the game that day.
Now, and is that a game? Is it Georgia Tech, and you're resting guys anyway?
No. It's a playoff game. Like, the whole reason we would punt a conference championship game is to add more playoff games, and nobody gets a bye if it's 16. So Georgia and Texas would have still been playing another game.
Yeah.
One way to piss Scott Forrester off, by the way, 6th time I've used the word piss today on the air.
Jim, let's clean up the language,
Scott
please.
Forrester this morning, not too happy when you start bantering around non-realistic playoff scenarios. Forrester doesn't like to talk about those.
Example.
Is that fair?
I think you're about to hear one, yes.
Oh, okay. So the example is what we're about to hear?
Yeah, because I was like,
can you put toothpaste back in a tube?
No, that is impossible.
Well, see, you're looking at it differently, but okay. Let me explain why I liked this idea from Sark. Is it going to happen? I agree with Forrester. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But it's a good idea. It's a good idea. On with Peter Burns and Chris Doring, Steve Sarkisian, Sirius XM. He likes the SEC championship game. He's never won it as a head coach at Texas, but he's been in it a couple of times, won it when he was with Alabama. So he likes the game, and he thinks we should double down on it. In fact, add more SEC-like games in Atlanta. He is in favor of going back to a 4-team college football playoff, each power conference having one team in it, and you have your own tournament to play into being your champion to go play in the college football 4-team playoff. Here's Steve Sarkisian.
I'm okay with 24. I'm okay with 16. I'm okay with going back to 4, if you want to know the truth,
Really?
and I'll give you my rationale on that. I really don't care for the number we're at right now, because we're in a
12. You just don't like
12.
yeah.
Because we've become a playoff or bust fan base.
Yeah.
Around the country, but there's not enough spots for us to have that mentality. You can go to 24 and it be playoff or bust, and now it's kind of like, okay, you either did or you didn't. 12's a tough number, especially when it's really not 12. G5's getting a spot, Notre Dame's getting a free spot, so you're really at 10, and then you got some AQs at the other conferences, so your number's really pretty small in a conference like ours.
Yeah.
My point to going back to 4 is this. I'm a big fan and a proponent of the SEC championship game. I think there's something special about that game, and it means a lot. I've got a chance to coach in it 3 times. I've won 2 and I've lost 1. Okay? But if we went back to 4, we could have our own SEC playoff for the SEC championship game. Because now the conference is expanded to where not everybody gets to play each other anymore. And so if we had our own mini playoff that could lead to an SEC championship game, and that winner is going to the Final Four, and maybe even the team they beat is going to the Final Four. But everybody knows, we all knew when those 4 teams played, those were the best 4 teams. You could argue the one a couple years ago with Georgia when they had won 33 in a row and they lose to Bama. That was a weird year of how it all played out.
Yeah.
We had beaten Bama in the regular season. Washington's undefeated. Michigan's undefeated. That was a tough year. But for the most part, those 4 teams we all knew. But you would have an opportunity to earn it if everybody had their own playoffs in their own conference, because conferences have grown. Not everybody's playing each other anymore.
Well, he's contradicting himself, because he's right. Like, we really didn't have much of an argument when it was 4, but if you do it his way, you're not going to have the 4 best teams, because you're going to have a Big 12 and an ACC that are forced.
He's right, but I think you'd have a better system that produced maybe not the 4 best teams.
Yeah, maybe so, but I think his mentality is...
I don't think he was saying the Big 12 and the ACC automatically gets a spot in the 4, because he mentioned there one way and you got to leave open Notre Dame.
I thought it was just clear-cut ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC winners get in.
He was speaking of the SEC and the Big 10. I think their champion being automatically in, and then 2 other teams.
But I think his mentality, much like Kalen DeBoer or pick your Ryan Day, whether it's 4 or 24, like 24, you're expected there every year if you're Texas. If you're not getting there at 4, then you're not going to have your job for long. And even if you're getting there at 24, you've got to make noise. So ultimately, like 4 or 24 for big programs don't really matter.
And his problem is Notre Dame in that scenario. Because if I'm Texas, I'm having to play through an SEC playoff and then win a championship, and then I get in. Does Notre Dame just sit there with their spot? I mean, how do you?
Well, then it would have to be subjective with Notre Dame. Like if they're in a top 4 ranking, but other teams are playing their way out on the field.
They're playing all those other games. They're just sitting around waiting for the rankings.
Yeah.
So I don't like that.
Well, he did reference Notre Dame. He's like, 12 is not really 12 because you have a G6, you have Notre Dame. You have to. He basically said gets an automatic bid. His words.
They didn't this year.
Then you've got the Big 12 and the ACC. So by the time you're down to eight teams now.
Yeah.
And then really it's 7 teams you're battling for. So it's I liked it. It'll never happen, but
I can't believe it's become this complicated.
I really can't either, Lance. I can't believe we've got this many suggestions of how to do it, and it's like everybody's got a different way. Even the people that agree on 24, everybody's got a different way to get to the 24.
We've gone through this huge spectrum of it was idiotic the way we used to do it, where it was subjective, and you had 2 basically sometimes national champions never even playing each other on the field.
Right.
And then whether it was 2, 4, now 12, now on the other side, we've got a lot of dumb suggestions as well.
I know.
And we're overcomplicating this.
We really are.
New York Butcher Shop. Well, it's hard to give what is perceived to be fair access when there's not parity in the sport enough to where everyone should have the same access. New York Butcher Shop gets us to Danny Kanell coming up on the other side.
A fantastic place to get the weekend started on a Thursday by stopping in, picking up the family, great steaks, ribs, chicken, pork, all of the quality meats. Also the fresh in-house sides made daily from those baked beans, the mashed potatoes, the mac and cheese, also the incredible entrees. I mentioned the chicken pot pie I got last week, the spaghetti. Fantastic food from our man Jim and the great butchers. 2 locations in New York Butcher Shop. The original right there in Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
From driveways to interstates, accidents happen fast. The insurance company's response? Here's our offer. Take it or leave it. Leave it. Call Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Over 250,000 clients. And no, they don't accept lowball offers. They fight, they win. Over $2 billion recovered. Call now for a free consultation. 659-777-7777 or alexwins.law. Physical office location, Birmingham.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Never miss anything from the Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, turn on automatic download so you can catch every part of the Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed, and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed. Thanks for always making the Next Round a big part of your day. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show always brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. If you want good Southern cooking, Danny Kanell would not know anything about that. There's no Southeastern DNA in this guy at all, even though he's in Florida. But Southern fried chicken, it's good at Champy's. It's great at Champy's. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, fantastic at Champy's. Hand-cut chicken fingers, they're huge at Champy's. In-house made sides, in-house made desserts. Perfect for tailgating. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Let's go. It's us versus Danny Kanell time.
Literally born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. You don't consider that South? It's South Florida.
No, look at the map. There's the South, and then there's Florida.
What's up, Danny Kanell? How are you today?
What's going on, fellas? So, Jim, I mean, do you not know where Tallahassee is located? Fort Lauderdale is definitely, that is New York South. Tallahassee is like a less than an hour from Georgia. We used to spend Friday nights before games in Thomasville, Georgia at a Holiday Inn so we would get out of town to keep us out of trouble. So, like, we spent a lot of our time in Georgia actually right there. So I would say Tallahassee is Southern. That's where I probably learned about fried chicken. But yeah, Fort Lauderdale, definitely not. But I got my first pair of cowboy boots when I went to Tallahassee, started listening to country music when I was in Tallahassee, started chewing tobacco when I was in Tallahassee. So there is some southern roots there in Tally.
Wait, you were a professional drafted baseball player while in high school, and you never tried tobacco until you got to Tallahassee?
I might have tried it a time or two, but it didn't sit well with me. And then when I got to Tallahassee, I just had to force the issue and make sure it could happen. You know, you just have to get through that initial sickness to kind of get acclimated to it. Yeah, so that was when I officially became more of a tobacco chewer.
Well, just because
which I did stop for a long time too.
We're talking geography. Spring break, were you more Panama City, La Villa, or Fort Lauderdale, and people driving on the beach? And
yeah, so it's funny because I grew up I was born in 73, so Fort Lauderdale was the spot in the 80s, right? Spring break was mayhem. And then when I got to college, they kind of cleaned it out because they had a couple kids, unfortunately, jumped off balconies or pushed off balconies. They ended up having some tragedies, so they tried to clean it all up. I would always come to Fort Lauderdale. I'd bring a couple buddies because it was home. I wanted to come home. Now, Panama City and that area, there were some spring weekends, like mini spring breaks, that I did spend quite a few times at Spinnaker's and Club La Villa, as you mentioned. Like, there were some good spots there as well, but those weren't the full-on spring break. I never went there, just kind of for a night or two. In fact, this is probably why my baseball career did not pan out too well, because also I was playing baseball, which I didn't even get a spring break my freshman and sophomore year. But all my buddies were there for spring weekend from football, and we had a series against Wake Forest. So Friday night, we have a game, and I wasn't playing much. I'd get sent in there from Mike Martin, and we'd be down by one run, and he'd send me up to pinch hit and be like, go tie it up for us. I'm like, thanks, coach. I've been sitting on the bench for 3 hours. Let me try to swing for the fences. So we had a series against Wake Forest. Game finishes up probably like 10 o'clock, hop in the car, gain an hour. So like you gain an hour because the time change. Showed up, had an incredible time, blast with my buddies, end up staying the night there at some Holiday and drive back for game 2 against Wake Forest. And it was so much fun that I made the drive back after the game. So yeah,
dedication.
That's probably why my baseball career didn't pan out the way I would have liked to. I ended up not even playing my junior and senior year. But yeah, those were quite the experiences there, driving over to Panama City.
No names, but can you remember the female's name that allowed you to go back after game 2?
It was not one. There was always a bunch. There were a lot to choose from. I just remember it was like 10 guys piled in a Holiday Inn with like a two queen beds, guys sleeping on the floors. And I woke up Saturday morning and there was a stench that I'm telling you cannot even describe. Like it's worse than a skunk. And we figured it out. It was one of my offensive linemen who had been, probably walked in the heat all day, came back. He probably was wearing some type of loafers or something, and his shoes were off, and his feet had the worst smell. It was the most disgusting stench I think I had ever smelled in my life. And that's probably why I didn't go back Sunday.
First time I ever left Spinnaker's to go to a beach with a girl, her name was Candy, and all my buddies when I got back the next day was like, oh, that was a fake name. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. It was a great time. I probably bumped into you at Spinnaker's one time, and you were like, who the hell's the old guy here at Spinnaker's?
Who let this guy in?
Yeah, at that time. Okay, so all the SEC meetings are going on now. A lot of stuff is coming out there. Let's see which comment is going to make your head blow up the most. Greg Sankey saying the SEC is the deepest conference by far. And that stands alone. They stand alone. The SEC, the deepest conference by far. When you hear that, you think what?
Thankfully, he didn't say top to bottom, because I think there is a difference. If you say top to bottom, that means you have the most national championship contenders, and we're going on 3 years where we haven't seen an SEC team in the championship game. So I don't think you can make that case. But I do think deepest is what I would tend to agree with. I think they are the deepest in college football, and it's kind of ironic because it's actually hurt the conference. Like they were better and perceived nationally as, without hesitation, the best conference in college football when they were rattling off consecutive years of national champions. But that was when, and a lot of this has already been discussed, when you could stack 4 and 5 stars and have 90% of your roster be 4 and 5 stars. And it wasn't only your starting unit, it was the backups as well. And everybody else was trying to play catch up and they couldn't stack their roster the same way. Now that all of college football has kind of been pilfered and those backups and those young players are being taken away by SEC schools, Big Ten schools, ACC and Big 12, they don't have the depth and the dominance that they had at one time. So I think if I was Greg Sankey, I would be selling the same thing. It is the deepest conference, and I don't have much pushback against that. Like I think it is the deepest, but they don't have that true national championship contender that we're starting to see emerge in the Big Ten almost on an annual basis.
Yeah, you're saying the same thing that Kirby Smart said to us in the interview, and I'm sure you and Dusty played it on the show, that he looks at his team now like, boy, we are nowhere close to these old Alabama teams when I was an assistant there, but we go win the SEC. But that's just the world of college football. Like, Ryan Day's Ohio State teams aren't close to what those 2014 teams were, but that's just, we have to recalibrate what we think is a good team.
And I do think the Big Ten has had the advantage, because I still think the closest thing to super teams are probably what we saw at Ohio State last year. Even though they lost, they came up short. What we're seeing at Oregon this upcoming season, their roster is stacked, because I don't think they have as much competition in the Big Ten of those teams that are desperate to win the way you see in the SEC. The way now we've had Indiana, it's been well documented, but like the bottom, I don't think you see Purdue, Maryland, Rutgers, some of those bottom tier teams. They're just kind of content, right? They didn't make a change with Mike Loxley, even though it's been a couple years now. Purdue is kind of just an afterthought. They really haven't stepped up. Michigan State is trying to. What I do think what gets interesting is if you do see investment from those, do we see the parity start to arrive in the Big Ten as well, where all of a sudden you see, and this is what my employer, I work for CBS, they're in desperate need of better matchups across the board so you don't get some of these lopsided weekends. I just wonder if we're going to start seeing that soon, because that would sure be great to see that, to see some of the parity start to creep into the Big Ten, because it does feel it is very top heavy. I think the middle's probably better than they get credit for. Like Iowa, they had 4 losses last year, all by 1 possession, all to really good football teams. Oregon, Indiana, a couple playoff teams as well. I don't think they get as much credit, but the bottom, there really is no argument you can make for the Big Ten at the bottom. There's a couple teams that are, and my buddy Bud Elliott always say, somebody has to take the checks. They're more than happy to just take the checks from the TV revenue, take the losses, kind of wear them, and they don't have that same desire to be a great football program, where you do see even the bottom dwellers, whether it's Arkansas, Mississippi State, like they're at least trying. They're trying to raise money. They desperately want to move up the ranks of the SEC. I don't think you see that in the Big Ten towards the bottom.
We got into kick times earlier today, and we were talking about Florida State and Alabama, the home and home, and week 3. And when you look at Florida State, it's been such a weird 6 years for Mike Norvell, because first 2 years, shaky, 2 really, really good years, and then 2 beyond shaky years the last couple of years. What is your expectation for what has been really an inconsistent ride under Mike Norvell?
It has been, my expectations are low, and I would say my expectations are higher than most fans I talk to. Like, it is, if you wanted to have probably, we do we talk about vibes, like positive vibes only. The vibes around Tallahassee are as bad as I've seen them in the last decade. Like, it is bad. And I think a lot of the fans wanted to move on from Mike Norvell. I think they realized the financial situation that Florida State is in. And I think a lot of boosters that would potentially be able to step up and write checks have not cut those checks, because they're kind of waiting for what feels inevitable, that, this season's going to be a disaster. They're going to have to move on from Mike Norvell. Then we'll go out and get that next head coach. That is not a healthy environment to be in. Like, and it pains me. I don't want to see that. And when I talk to fans, I try to encourage them. I'm an optimistic person by nature. I'm rooting for Mike Norvell. I would love for him to prove everybody wrong and to actually over-deliver on expectations, because the last 2 years they've fallen well short of them. Maybe it's a spot where they actually can get a team that responds to him and is able to ride that chip on their shoulder. But as far as just roster composition, they're middle of the pack in the ACC. And so this will be one where Mike Norvell will have the opportunity, because I think it might be one of his best coaching jobs if he does get to 8 wins or 9 wins potentially. But the win total speaks volumes. It's around 6.5. I think that's probably the expectation. I think most Florida State fans feel like this is Mike Norvell's last year. Like, and what gets really dicey for Michael Alford and for Florida State is if you get to 7 wins, maybe you beat it, like last year they beat Alabama, maybe they beat a Miami and they have sort of one signature win, but then they lose some games they're not supposed to. If it's 7-5 and you want to stick with them, which I think Michael Alford would love to be that situation, are you going to get the belief from the boosters and the people that need to cut the checks that, he can bring us back to the promised land? It's almost like that's the worst situation. It's like having an NFL draft pick. If you need a quarterback and you have a decent season, but you're in the 15s, but you need a top 5 pick, it's just like a purgatory that Florida State could find itself in if that's the situation.
I still believe, even though USC, Oregon, Washington are in a good place, UCLA in the Big Ten, I still believe there's mourning from people out in that part of the country for the Pac-12 and the death of the Pac-12, not this new thing, the old Pac-12. Even with USC and Oregon and Washington fans, if the day comes and the Big Ten and the SEC expand again, I believe it's all ACC targets. It's Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, Duke to start with, whether it's the Big Ten or the SEC. Will there be the same type of mourning from you Florida State people about the Atlantic Coast Conference, or Clemson people, or people like that, or no? Are you guys sort of yearning to be picked up by the SEC or the Big Ten?
I think if it's the case of survival, Florida State fans, or whatever it takes to be relevant, whatever it takes to have the resources to compete, I know there's a significant portion that would love to see him go to the Big Ten or SEC. I personally, I don't, and while I've been very forward thinking as far as what does the playoff look like in expansion, it pains me to see the Pac-12 fall by the wayside. I mean, I grew up as somebody who watched them win championships and watched the great teams that you mentioned in USC and UCLA and have some of those blue blood programs that aren't even a part of the conference, to see that conference die. My first year at Florida State was Florida State's first year in the ACC. I wouldn't want to see it. I don't think it's healthy for the sport, but I'd say if you polled Florida State fans, they would say, I don't care. We just want our best opportunity to be relevant again, to have the resources to compete with the schools, even like Miami, who's pulling away because they have richer resources. They would want to be able to compete with Florida, Georgia, with Alabama, the teams they're trying to compete on, which have deeper pocketbooks because the TV money's more significant.
Danny Kanell is with us, Dusty and Danny in the morning, Sirius XM. You see him on CBS, also the Cover 3 podcast. So you can just follow him on his social media, get all that, at Danny Kanell. Just his name there, at Danny Kanell. He's on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. New coach in a new spot, not necessarily first-time coach, but a coach in a new spot that you've got the highest upside for this year. A coach you think, this coach in a new spot, and maybe not even this year, if you're just like, hey, this may be a tough year, but long-term, I think this guy succeeds.
So this one pains me because he's a Florida State guy.
Yeah.
So Dusty and I on the morning show, we had John Sumrall when he was on at Troy, when he was the head coach at Troy. And we were blown away with his energy, his attitude, his mindset. And like as soon as we hung up with him, like, oh, that guy's going to be a head coach. And then every time we've talked to him since when it was Tulane, it's like, oh, yeah, we remember this guy. Like he stood out. Then even when he takes the job at Florida, we hear him, it's like, oh, my gosh. And you can see why this program, why Florida is so enthusiastic about him. The only thing I would say is that can possibly screw – there are really two things that I think could screw this up. One is Florida fans can be their own worst enemy, right? They have such high expectations. If it doesn't turn around in year one, you wonder if they lose some of that enthusiasm, some of that optimism. The other thing, which I think is more significant, and this is where I would pump the brakes on saying, yeah, they're going to be that surprise team that goes 9-3 in the SEC. The excitement is there because the roster from last season, there's a lot of good pieces that are coming back. But the most important position of the game, no matter who wins the battle, whether it's Tramel Jones or Aaron Philo, we're talking about quarterbacks that have not played a lot of college football. And I would lean towards Philo because Buster Faulkner is coming in with him, and I liked him when he came in at Georgia Tech. You saw some flashes, but this is a whole nother ball game, and that has been something that hurt Billy Napier when he missed on a couple quarterbacks, and his quarterbacks didn't develop the same way. But if one of those quarterbacks clicks and they're top half of the SEC, because I don't even think it has to be like a Heisman Trophy candidate. It doesn't have to be a top 5 quarterback in the country. But if they just get consistent play at quarterback, I think Florida could be that team with a first year head coach, a lot of excitement, a lot of optimism, where they could actually deliver. And it would pain me to say that, but I actually do like John Sumrall a lot. I think he's a really good football coach.
It's impossible not to. I mean, same thing happened to us.
Yep.
I don't know how much of our audience cares about Troy. Troy was like, hey, we got a big playoff game coming up. Can Coach come on? He came on, and we were like, we love this man. Like, this guy can come on anytime he wants. So same thing happened to us. Don't worry.
All right, sticking with first-year guys, based on program expectations, LSU, Ole Miss, who has the better first year, Lane Kiffin or Pete Golding?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I would say based on expectations, probably Pete Golding, because I feel like he's going to get a pass. I think their schedule is going to be much harder. Like Lane, as much conversation was had about this, Lane did time things up pretty well, where he went 20-0 in the non-conference, but they really didn't play many teams tough out of conference. Even in the conference, he avoided some of those bigger games, and he was able to take advantage of that. That's what good coaches do. But now he's at LSU. The schedule's going to be much harder. The expectations, I don't know how you guys, I'm sure you guys have talked to a lot of LSU fans. It is playoffs or bust.
Yeah.
Like anything short of the playoffs is a disaster. And then all of a sudden, that's when I worry about this honeymoon phase where LSU fans love Coach Kiffin. He can do no wrong. They love him trolling other coaches. Like all these things are fun when you haven't played a game or you're winning. And we obviously know with him, you haven't played a game yet. I would say for Pete Golding, he's coming in as sort of the fan favorite, the darling, the guy who didn't leave us, the guy who can, who actually won some games in the playoffs. And I think because I think there's probably a likelihood they probably both are around 8-4, 7-5. And I think if you're Pete Golding, you're 8-4, 7-5, the fans are gonna be like, that's tough. But, we realize what happened. We lost a lot of pieces. We're going to give him more money. If LSU goes 8-4, 7-5, there's going to be some very upset fans. There are going to be some very upset people. Wait, you did that with this roster that was $45 million, $50 million, whatever it is. So I would say from who has a more enjoyable offseason next year, I'd probably say Pete Golding will have a more enjoyable offseason where Lane Kiffin might have some more bumps and try to soothe the relationship a little bit, maybe even have to display a little more maturity of, hey, I'm going to go back to work. All right, I get some of these things were distractions. I could see Lane having that type of an offseason next year.
May get called to the governor's office even, if it's bad enough. Danny Kanell, the fan, Danny Kanell, the player. What was your favorite kick time? I'll give you, because everybody's griping about their kick times once we got the first 3 TV windows. Was it early, afternoon, or prime time?
I think it's pretty easy for me. 3:30 was the sweet spot, because I remember, you mentioned going to Thomasville, Georgia. We got a lot of home, like against Wake Forest or Duke or one of those ACC opponents we would get at noon. And just as a college kid, we didn't practice in the morning. I know that's kind of trendy now for teams to practice in the morning. Our practices were at 2, so you could kind of manipulate your schedule and have your first class be at 9. When we had to be up at 7 a.m. for, a team breakfast, and then we had to all bus back to, and I just remember so snoozy, like sleepy. Guys were falling asleep. It's like an hour drive. You're sleeping on the bus. You get off we had a van, we get off and we'd kind of be waking up. You go, it's not as much energy or excitement. 3:30 was a totally different story. Now, I get the prime time. Like, there is nothing like playing under the lights, and I love those opportunities. But as a player, I was always very restless and just I like to nap, and I couldn't really nap because you're so, anxious. You just want to get the game over with. And then as somebody who my parents usually came to most of my games, it worked out perfectly. If we played at 3:30, I'd go out to dinner with my parents, get a bite to eat at 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I could say goodbye, tuck them in, and then go out with my boys after the game. If it was a 7:30 game, my parents would be a quick goodbye. All right, they're tired. They sometimes might drive back South Florida, and then I would go meet out my buddies. But by the time you got out, it was so late. 3:30 for me was the sweet spot for everybody. And I think fans, I'd be curious to know what your guys' poll would say or what your fans would say, because I think 3:30 is kind of a sweet spot where you have enough time to tailgate. I know it can be hot at times of the year, but from a player's perspective, I always like that 3:30 spot.
Okay, Danny Kanell, the general manager. All things equal, you get one of these 3 quarterbacks to quarterback your program this year. Arch Manning, Dante Moore, Darian Mensah.
I'm such a big Dusty Danny fan, I think I can answer this better than Danny himself. Go ahead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know where you think I'm going to go with this, because I really like Darian Mensah a lot. He's done more already than Arch has. He's been more consistent. Man, there is something enticing about Arch. And I've seen, I'm almost more impressed by Arch Manning, because I was definitely somebody last year who was like, pump the brakes. I was not buying into Arch. Said we need to stop christening him as the next number 1 overall pick. But I actually am more impressed that he was able to endure the season that he did. It was very bumpy, and he took a lot of criticism. And Sark's play calling comes into question, and he's got some of these rough patches. But I always like quarterbacks better that have been through that fire and then bounce back. And the way he finished the season, I thought showed me you got to have thick skin. I think Arch has very thick skin. He was able to play through that, and I still think his upside is there. So I would say Arch, then Darian Mensah, and then I would put Dante Moore third on the list. But if you said
Fanboy got it totally wrong.
Oh, there you go. You got to listen more.
Fanboy thought it would be Moore, Arch, and Mensah last.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, if you said statistically who's going to have the best season, I might say Darian Mensah. The schedule lines up. I mean, he's got insane weapons. He's a really good quarterback. I would say probably, if you were taking a Heisman flyer, I'd probably like his odds better than Arch's. But I'd probably be more enticed to coach Arch.
But you do agree Mensah's an upgrade from Beck.
Oh, yeah. I think he's not that mobile, but I think he's sort of a hybrid between Cam Ward and Carson Beck, and probably the best version of both. Cam was a little bit careless with the football. He'd make these electric plays. Carson would fall, crater under the big moments. I think Mensah's I think he's the best quarterback that Miami will have had yet.
I know you have things to do, and you've been great with your time. Could you leave us with your best Bobby Bowden story before you go? Your favorite Bobby Bowden story? Because we are all big fans of Coach Bowden. He's a Birmingham guy. He always came back here to Birmingham.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, Coach Bowden is the best. He's the most authentic person you will ever meet. The way I describe him for people is, I know a lot of you guys have met and hung out with a lot of celebrities. I mean, Jim just hangs out with celebrities nonstop. Sometimes you meet them and you're kind of underwhelmed, and you're like, oh, I thought they were going to be cooler, or I thought they were going to be funnier, or whatever. If you have a perception of Coach Bowden, you might think, oh, he's this legendary coach. He would over exceed your expectations. He was even kinder and gentler and sweeter in person and more cordial than you would imagine. I'd say probably the one thing that sticks out to me is a decision that he made, which I hated at the time, was when we were playing against Florida. We were down 31-3. It was the choke at Doak. We come roaring back. Mark Richt was our offensive coordinator. And so mostly I would talk to Coach Richt on the headsets, like he was upstairs in the booth. So before we go out in the field, we're down 7 points. So it's 31-24. And Mark Richt is like, all right, when we score, we're going to go for 2. We're going to go for the win. He's like, we were going to run 30 trap. It was a play we'd already scored on earlier in the game. And Coach Bowden was all on board with us. And so so we actually do go down the score. And if you watch the TV copy, I'm actually yelling at everybody to stay on the field. And I look over at Coach Bowden, and he just has the one finger up. And that means we're going to kick PAT, right? One finger, we're going to kick it. And I was like, what just happened? Like, what's going on? And there were 2 things. One, after the game, and I'm pretty sure Coach Bowden did this knowingly, because he had a very coy way of like a slip of the tongue where it might seem like it, but it wasn't. But when Jack Arute interviewed him after the game on the field, he was like, what do you think about this game? And Coach Bowden was like, oh, this was an incredible win for the tie. Like, he said win first. And after, when I asked him about it, he's like, I didn't want to have this historic comeback be for nothing. He's like, we had to win. He said, and the tie did feel like a win, and it was. And then we went on and beat them in the Sugar Bowl, and we know there was no way were they going to beat us in that moment. But that was one where I hated the decision at the time, but I think looking back on it, he was probably right, because if we wouldn't have got the 2, no one would ever remember the choke at Doak. It would have just been a tough loss and all for naught. And I think it was one of that he showed a little bit of wisdom in that moment.
Yeah, he was the best, man.
What was more ridiculous, that we used to have ties or split national championships?
I know.
Right. I hated the ties.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness we got rid of ties. Split national titles made for some fun fodder, but thankfully, we don't have to deal with either one anymore.
At Danny Kanell on Twitter. Listen to him every single morning.
They know where he is on Twitter.
I know.
You don't have to give his Twitter handle.
As somebody said in the chat, I was like, just go follow Danny Kanell on Twitter. And somebody said, he's got us all blocked. We can't do that.
I don't block anybody.
Danny Kanell on Twitter and SiriusXM every morning, CBS Sports as well. Thank you very much, Danny. Have a great weekend, and we appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys. Enjoyed it.
All right, buddy. Take care. Danny with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And the show being brought to you by Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. If you wear the contacts, you wear glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. If you wear the contacts, you know what a pain in the ass it is. I dealt with them for a full decade. I finally went to see Dr. Mort Michelson in 2003. That led to 2015 vision better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
And 4 Downs every day, presented by Central Alabama Asphalt and Construction. You ride the roads of Alabama and you see those big federal government, state government, municipal roadway projects across Alabama. Chances are our boys from Central Alabama Asphalt are doing those jobs. And that may tell you that they don't have enough time or bandwidth for your job. You are incorrect. They have an entire division for the smaller jobs like parking pads, driveways, parking lot for a church or a community center or something like that. Same crews, same quality, same no excuse standards. For an estimate, jobs big or small, 205-349-0910, 205-349-0910, or CentralAlabamaAsphalt.com.
First down.
All right, let me get it pulled up here. I'm going to
That's okay. Brooks in for Tyler all week, and he's got our 4 downs like Tyler usually does on Thursday.
So, on this date in 1957, the National League approved the move of the Dodgers and Giants to the West Coast. What's a pro sports team that you most associate with a city they're no longer in?
Well, the easy one now, because it's been so short of a period of time, it is hard for me to call them the Las Vegas Raiders. But I do wonder, like, if they played in L.A. and Oakland, I don't even know which one you remember them in.
See, I think because of those moves, I've always called them the Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm more freaked out by still the Chargers being in L.A. that it's not the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah,
that bothers me more.
I liked San Diego. I was more Oakland Raiders. But one for me, like Seattle not having basketball, and they're going to get it back. But the Supersonics and the way that deal went down with Clay Bennett and that group going to Oklahoma City, look, and it's worked out. I mean, there's a good chance Oklahoma City's about to win back-to-back championships.
They certainly thrive there.
And they're building a massive new arena there.
Oak City is?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
I mean, their fan base is great, but Seattle's fan base was great too. But to have that completely, like, it's not even the Sonics, you know? So, like, nobody that's under 30 years old probably remembers what that change was. But the Sonics were such a good NBA brand.
I also don't like it. When the Cardinals first went to Arizona, they were the Phoenix Cardinals, and they changed to the Arizona Cardinals, did they not?
Yes.
So I hate it when they do that, too. Like when they start out in a market as one name and they decide, well, we're going to do the state name. It doesn't happen a ton.
But opposite, there was Florida Marlins, now Miami Marlins.
That's right.
They did it backwards the other way around. But they actually were in Tempe, a suburb of Phoenix. Now they're further out. I mean, Glendale
they're in the middle of nowhere.
is the way out. So that sort of coincided with their change there.
Another we completely trashed was the Houston Oilers, originally playing in Memphis, then moving to Nashville.
Were they still the Oilers in Memphis? They did not become the Titans until Nashville,
no, they were the Tennessee Oilers.
Yeah, Tennessee Oilers. Because they said we're only going to be the Titans when we're in our final home.
Yeah.
Kept the Oilers.
I don't even think they announced the Titans initially.
Oh, did they not?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they moved there as the Oilers.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it seemed like the Titans was an add-on after.
I remember as a kid, my dad used to always call the Colts Baltimore, like when they were in Indianapolis, because they were in Miami's division. If you remember, that was the old AFC East before expansion. The Colts were in Miami's division. And who the Dolphins play this weekend, son? Colts, all Baltimore.
Well,
now they're in Indianapolis.
When the Rams left Anaheim in '93, they were still the LA Rams, and they went to St. Louis. I mean, for a lot of people, for a decade, it was hard to call them St. Louis
I don't
Rams.
think I ever called them St. Louis Rams.
Those years are blanked out of my mind.
Yeah, you had a terrible stadium,
and they won Super Bowls.
It was just you were always
Super Bowl.
You're always LA Rams. Yeah.
Second down.
It never makes sense to me how you didn't have an NFL franchise in Los Angeles. Like if you're starting a professional league that has TV contracts,
LA won.
You start with New York and LA.
Yep.
Second down, John Fogerty, 81 today. He was famously the front man of CCR. The band was only around from 1968 to 72, though, and had a ton of commercial success. What's a band or artist you wish would have been able to release more music?
Leonard Skinner.
Not John Fogerty.
I think Leonard Skinner. Yeah.
With the original crew.
Yeah, to see without the plane crash where Leonard Skinner would have ended up, I think would be fascinating.
I think it would be too, and you just wonder if Van Zandt had all these demons a lot of the front men do, and on that same note, I thought Kurt Cobain and Nirvana.
That's where I was going to go.
Had a lot more left in the tank.
That's great. I'm not a big Beatles fan, but I think if those guys would have stayed together and aged together, I would have loved to have seen what their next decade of music, what it would have sounded like as we got more away from that 60s, early 70s rock into the 70s and maybe the early 80s with them still as a band.
Well, it was weird because it really wasn't the pop in 70s. It was more disco.
Yeah.
And 70s were more rock, which I think they would have transitioned more for that. But, I don't know. The Beatles seem more like pop than anything.
Yeah. I'd like to see what older Beatles would have been like, but I think Leonard Skinner would be my answer.
Didn't Boston, I know you're not a huge fan. I don't know if you like, I like Boston's sound. I think they only released 3 albums, though. I don't know what the...
Oh, I'll tell you one.
I don't know if there was a death or something.
I know they're back touring together. At least one of them is there. But that one album that I had from the Gin Blossoms in my single 90s days, Jealousy is one of my favorite songs of all time. In fact, I tried to live by it for most of my 90s life when I was single. If you don't expect too much from me, I might not let you down is a great line and should be a tattoo. But what did the Gin Blossoms ever do after that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Third down.
Jerry West would have been 88 years old today. One of his most noted career achievements included being the only player in NBA history to win Finals MVP while playing on the losing team. What's the best effort in a losing performance that you can remember?
We mentioned it a few weeks ago or a few days ago, Michael Jordan losing at Boston Garden when he scored 60-plus points.
I don't know what always jumps out of me, but Michael Vick, Virginia Tech against Florida State, that national championship game. I just remember, my God, how good is this guy going to be?
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl when they threw that pass instead of handing it to him.
The years are running all together.
You're probably going to go Matt Stafford NFC Championship game.
You know what?
Year.
I'm not. I thought you would answer that one, so I was going to go. Johnny Manziel in the game Alabama won at College Station.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Him and Mike Evans.
They could not put – Alabama was so much better that day, but they could not put A&M away because of Johnny Manziel.
I think Alabama in that game, did they get down by
couple of scores again,
13
just like the
or
year before.
17.
Yeah, but then at halftime it was like 35-14, and then I think they scored early in the half to make it 42-14. And I think they had to score 49 just to win the game.
Yeah, another one, Baker Mayfield in that Rose Bowl against Georgia.
Oh, God,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
overtime?
Yeah.
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 First year of the 12-team playoff. 14 playoff,
yep.
yeah.
No. That wasn't the first year. 2014 was first year.
Yeah, I think it was the same.
But it was the night that Alabama beat Clemson after that, and it was such a dud game. And the
2017
Georgia.
No, that
was the season.
That was the first year.
Oh, 2014
was the first year.
Yeah, that's right. That was Florida State, Oregon was the Rose Bowl that year. No, he's right. Yeah, it's 2017. Yeah.
I knew we were in New Orleans.
I just remember
waiting for that
watching
game
it.
to
Yeah,
end.
I remember
watching that game.
watching it at the Sugar Bowl, waiting for Alabama to play Clemson, and
they kicked off the game, and it's still going on.
I
Yeah.
think there were 7 minutes left in the first quarter when they finally got to the game live. That's
Yeah.
how long that one took.
Because I'm sitting there watching this is an unbelievable game, and I've got to go out here and watch this next one with a Clemson Alabama game.
In 91, was it Smoltz that lost to Jack Morris 1-0?
1-0, yeah.
Didn't he pitch 10 innings? Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Was that a home run right over the plexiglass? They had plexiglass.
I don't know if it was.
Yeah.
Might have been.
Kirby Puckett, I thought.
One I was thinking of was Bryce Young in 2022 at Tennessee.
That's the single best quarterback day in Alabama football history.
It was until he did it against Arkansas a few
Well,
weeks
that's
later.
true, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But what did you have Bryce on your list?
Where did I have Bryce on my
Yeah,
list?
I'm just asking again. I don't remember. I know.
number 2.
I think I had him fifth.
I had him number 2.
Okay.
Fourth, maybe I had him fourth or fifth.
Lance going back to that.
Just checking.
Fourth down.
He lost the game.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, he didn't make the plays at the end.
Today is National Hamburger Day and National Brisket Day. When done really well, which one do you like better?
Burger.
Yeah.
Not brisket?
No.
I like brisket,
yeah.
but a perfectly done burger is better than brisket.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
me.
a perfectly done burger might be better than a steak. I don't know.
It's hard to beat.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, what, you do the smash burgers like 3 times a week still?
I only do the smash burger probably once a week now.
Well, and everybody's burger is going to be different. What you would call a perfect burger.
But I mean, I don't think you like the smash as much. Do you?
I like it, but I like a thicker burger better. Yeah, the ones I got from New York Butcher the other day were they were like that.
Are
thick,
you more
prime
thick or
beef.
smash?
I like them thick.
I like the smash.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I like brisket. I think if it's done really well, as long as
I like it fine.
As long as Lincoln Riley's not doing my brisket.
Yeah, his was a burn victim.
Also like brisket nachos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like a good hot dog over brisket. I'll put a good hot dog over brisket as well.
Jim is counting down the days until
Tyler's challenge.
We're gonna have a hot dog bar.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
I like a good hot dog. All right, that's our 4 downs today. Brought to you in part by our friends at Odie's today.
Odie's Tavern, great place for live music starting tomorrow night, Friday, Saturday, each location, both nights. They've got the live music. Of course, great place to watch Game 6, Western Conference Finals tonight, inside or outside on that great patio. Incredible food from Rodney Davis, from the wings, the burgers, the great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Birmingham Institution, get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hop in. Injured in an Uber or Lyft? Here's the problem. Was it the driver's fault? The other car? The app company? Good luck figuring that out while you're trying to heal. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, they've got a guy for rideshare accidents. And here's the best part. They don't get paid unless you do. You heal. They fight. One call, 659-777-7777. Or visit alexwins.law. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Because rideshare accidents need an experienced team. Physical office, Birmingham.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Champy's Chicken brings you the final hour every day on our show for 1,205 shows. Sterling has been there, just like he's been at that location on Highway 119 in Alabaster for you every day for 11 years. That shows you how good that food is, man. 11 years, same location, 119 Alabaster. Go by there and enjoy lunch and dinner, tailgate food, happy hour, date night, destination, lunch and dinner location. All the great Southern fried chicken that's brined overnight, juicy to the bone, and cooked to order. It is Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. OTAs going on for several other teams, including the Minnesota Vikings right now. JJ McCarthy, national championship winning quarterback, is there, still waiting his turn for it to be his team. Veteran Kyler Murray is there now. These two having different OTA experiences as they're getting ready for the season.
Would you describe your relationship with JJ to this point?
It's been great. It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him, obviously, I feel like, I've played 7 years now, going on 8, so I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know, we both want what's best for the team.
Has he been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that, so it's been good.
What's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
Yeah, one of those guys answered it like a professional. And then there was J.J. McCarthy.
One of them told the truth, and then there was Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah. But Kyler Murray, that's the way you answer that question.
He tried to clean it up, yeah.
Man, I think he's going to be so good this year, and I think that's a little scary for the rest of the NFC because I think he's got a point to prove. I think Kevin O'Connell's quarterbacks always work out. And I think back to J.J. McCarthy, a lot of people never understood why he was taken so high.
I agree, but That Kyler Murray answer right there to me shows maturity.
Yeah,
that shows I'm a 7-year
Okay,
veteran.
well, that was the problem he had in Arizona, though.
Yeah.
He wasn't prepared a lot. He didn't want to study film. He was very immature.
Yeah, well, let's see if that translates.
Yeah.
But as far as that media answer there, that was a mature answer, and JJ McCarthy's was not.
Based on that answer, who do you thinks they are the starter?
Oh, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah.
That's based on that answer. Kyler Murray answered it like a guy that thinks he's the starter, and JJ McCarthy answered it like the guy who's answering that somebody's coming in trying to steal my job.
Yeah, I think if you talk to Kevin O'Connell behind the scenes, he'd tell you.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray's going to be our guy.
There's a reason why we went to get Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And it's not
Arizona's paying for him.
And it's not because of the guy on the other side of the classroom. Our friends at Hemp Hill gets us to trash today. Tell us about the great folks at Hemp Hill.
Yeah, hey, look, when this weather clears out a little bit, it's going to get really, really hot in the next week. Plus, you need to make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Our friends at Hemp Hill Services, they're the ones Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any and all plumbing, heating, cooling issues, home or business. Make that call today, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew awaiting your call. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
But there was a change at 6-7 with Oregon and Ole Miss swapping spots. How much of an impact potentially could it be on Ole Miss if it's determined they don't have their head coach in the field?
6-7. But seriously, Rich, we didn't have any discussion.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Hunter Yurachek wishes his game was starting at 6 or 7.
That is amazing. That's the same guy that is so upset about a kick time.
Before I get into trash, I came across this morning, and I can't believe I've never heard of this. But Michael Rockefeller, who was obviously one of the Rockefellers, one of their sons. You guys ever hear how he died?
Michael?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Not from bankruptcy.
No. But, I mean, at the time of his death, he was 23 years old, okay?
Okay.
He was an anthropologist, and he was a collector of like, exotic art. But he was down exploring, and he was actually killed in New Guinea and eaten by cannibals.
Ooh,
is that nuts?
That's a terrible way to go.
Yeah. It's crazy because, there was a lot of different speculations, but, the final report was. And they not only that, but they also dismembered him and turned his bones into weapons.
May I ask, Lance, what you were Googling that brought you across
it was,
that right there?
It was one of those things
mind?
like 5 odd events in history that you never knew about. It popped up on Instagram today.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
I was like, wait, because the first thing it was like Rockefeller was killed and eaten by cannibals.
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't know what's real, not real on the internet. But since you brought something, I'll do something before we get to trash. I just sent it to Forrester, but he may not have it yet. And I don't even know if it's real. But according to this website, a dad is going viral for saying inflation has gone out of control after taking his 3 kids to a baseball game. And it shows a picture of him and 3 kids at the baseball game, and then his concession ticket at Citizens Bank Park, 3 Pepsis, $2 each, $6 total, 4 hot dogs, 1 for each of the kids, $7 each, $28, 1 cotton candy, $9 for the cotton candy, $9, 17 Coors Light, $12.99 each, $220. $279.66 is his tab.
I think that's just a flex on his 17. Was that by himself?
No, he's got his 3 kids with him.
Yeah, but how many are drinking?
No,
just
the
him.
kids are little kids.
Yeah, so he's got 17 beers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
what
his
he
flex.
says.
And 3 kids and no driver, by the way. Hopefully he's walking.
I'm going to guess that was a joke, but
I think the easiest way
I
just
believe
to
the
define
prices.
the economy is $7 a gallon in California right now.
That's tough. How about $9 for cotton candy? I mean, how much do you have in a thing of cotton candy?
It's air and sugar.
10 cents.
Okay, so there's this joint that opened up over the mountain, I'll just call it. It's an ice cream place. You guys might have seen something about it over the weekend. And I took Maddie after lunch yesterday, and it was a shot of the ice cream was $9.45. And the line the day before was an hour and a half to get in there.
Wait, isn't it only soft-serve? I thought they were known for their soft-serve.
I think it is soft-serve.
I'm like, I can get soft-serve anywhere. It can't be that good.
Yeah. It was good.
Is it soft serve or is it, what did I used to eat all? There used to be one.
Italian ice?
No, there's something in it, though, because, I mean, that's what made it jump her. She's like,
sorbet?
Got to try this.
Yeah.
There is a sorbet.
It
we
wasn't
had a
soft
mango.
serve, but it's not the scoop ice cream.
I didn't know there was another option.
But
Not Froyo, is it?
No.
$9.45 for
custard.
Custard.
I like custard.
Oh, I love custard.
Yeah,
and
custard's
it comes
good.
out like a soft serve.
Yeah.
But it's custard.
Yeah, Culver's has a frozen custard.
Oh, yeah.
So we are about to celebrate 250 years right here in America. Doritos is also celebrating with a new contest that challenges fans to build famous U.S. landmarks out of Doritos chips for your chance to win $250,000. Now, the snack brand announced the Build Bold contest on May 26th, encouraging participants to create edible versions of iconic American monuments using Dorito chips and upload their creations online. Now, according to the official contest page, fans can sculpt their own versions of landmarks like the Statue of Liberty, the Capitol Building, or the Washington Monument using of any variety of Doritos. Grand prize winner will take home $250,000.
Washington Monument's the easiest of them all. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't want to spend the time to do it.
I want to see somebody put together SoFi.
Yeah. or give
That's
me
an American monument.
No, it's funny you say this.
Yeah.
We were at dinner with a
Give
couple.
me Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that. That'd be tough.
We were at dinner a couple of weeks ago with a couple, and this is this couple that we met in Europe. And he was like, I've still got so much I want to see in the States. Like, I want to see, I think it was like the Golden Gate Bridge. I want to see SoFi. And I was like, that's your second landmark that
Golden Gate
SoFi
Bridge,
comes
SoFi,
out?
yeah.
He was probably playing to the room.
Oh, he wasn't.
I can't remember. Do you like Golden Gate Bridge? Do you think it's overrated?
Oh, no, I don't think it's overrated
So
at
that's
all.
one where you're like, that delivered.
Yeah,
okay.
I've seen it 4 times now.
Yeah, so it delivered for you. It was not over. Okay.
Now, when you were up there, was it amazing to think that people have survived that jump?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it in different. I've driven across it. I've stood down on the beach on the San Francisco side. I've been seen it from Sausalito. And then you and I climbed on a mountain and looked at it.
Okay, but now that when you think about it, I mean, does it seem impossible that somebody could survive that?
Yeah, it does seem
Oh, yeah,
impossible.
yeah.
Jumping in the water. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad odds.
Well, but I mean, the first time I ever saw the water between land and Alcatraz, I was like, nobody survives that. Now, it was a very gusty, bad weather day, but I'm like, that water, I don't think you could survive it.
No, Clay said he could swim.
I'm aware Clay has said this. Yeah.
But there are some traffic accidents I see on 280. I'm thinking somebody didn't survive. and
that's
they
a good
survived.
point.
So somebody survived a plane crash one time, right?
Oh yeah, I mean
multiple
multiple
times, but there was somebody
happened,
fell
yeah.
out of a plane. And
No, we've had situations where 108. It wasn't long ago. Remember, there was like 185 dead, and the one guy survived.
Yeah.
Just right situation. So back to this, the Doritos, they're even including a chip calculator that estimates how many bags of Doritos builders may need, depending on the monument they choose to recreate.
It's going to be more than you really need.
Here are the list. They provided a list of ones you can build for the contest. I don't think SoFi's on here, but the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, Grand Canyon, Yellowstone National Park. How do you erect that?
Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Yosemite, Everglades, Arches National Park, Great Smoky Mountains, Niagara Falls.
Great Smoky Mountains, you got to have Gatlinburg made out of Doritos.
Of course, the Statue of Liberty.
I'm just saying Grand Canyon seems like it'd be a fairly easy one, too, relatively speaking to, like the White House or the Capitol.
It kind of
building.
looks, it's already the color of Doritos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, you're just making a hole.
Would you send in Denny Chimes?
It already looks like the Washington Monument.
Really?
Yeah.
Just need the handprints. That's all you need.
You gotta make some few holes at the top, but yeah.
A woman has been formally charged by the Loveland, Colorado police after repeatedly raiding a local honor system farm stand and driving away in a Range Rover without paying.
I mean, in a Range Rover, by the way.
Suspect was caught on video targeting Gone Ashtray Goods, a sourdough micro bakery in Loveland. Now, the footage went viral after being shared on Instagram and Facebook, earning her nickname Oatmeal Cream Pie Bandit.
That's a big nickname right there. Probably not going to stick, but boy, she cleans the joint out, doesn't she?
Yeah, what's the charges?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a bad look. Now, during the first incident, by the way, she did this twice. She cleared out almost the entire batch of oatmeal cream pies, grabbing additional items and audibly saying thanks to the camera before leaving without paying. Baker owner Stephanie Corville kept the footage private, but the suspect returned weeks later. Corville walked outside to confront her mid-theft and informed her she had an outstanding tab. The woman claimed she needed to fetch her phone from her car, dropped her bag, and never returned. Now, Corville followed the suspect, filmed her attempting to reverse her Range Rover and hide her license plate. She captured the plate on video, handed it to the police. Police department addressed those who questioned whether the case warranted police resources, stating, quote, accountability matters at every level, especially when local businesses and community members become victims of crime. Now, it doesn't say.
Yeah. Well, my only question was going to be, it's an honor system, but there is a value on each item. That doesn't mean there's not a value on the item.
It's got to be properly posted, though.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you guys a hypothetical. Commissary downstairs.
Uh-huh.
It's honor, but you got to swipe it. Like if I'm down there, let's just hypothetically say that I've got a pack of peanut M&Ms,
Okay. All right.
and I swipe it, and I swipe it, and I swipe it,
Yeah.
and it never comes up. But the other items are coming up, and then I pay, like my bill's $5.82, but it should really be $7.50.
You should put the M&Ms back.
But how's that my fault that it's not scanning?
But still, you got to pay for them.
Well, here's what I've done in the past. I've used our commissary downstairs, and the thing was down, so you couldn't scan. So the next time I'm in there, I get that item, and I scan it and just pay for it then.
Well,
See what I'm
I go in, I don't pay for anything. I wear the brown bandit, and I just go in there and take all their shit. And I know if they come up here looking for somebody.
Guy makes picks and steals our candy.
I thought you were going to say you get free Diet Coke down there, Brown.
I do not. I get free Diet Coke right here behind me.
Absolutely horrible at this.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's somebody trying to do something nice for the community.
A Florida influencer, an athlete, is fighting a distracted driving ticket after a sheriff's deputy claimed she was holding the phone in her right hand despite the fact she does not have one. I saw this last night. Very, very comical, by the way. Now, Katie, who posed as slightly off balance on TikTok and Instagram, was pulled over Lake Worth, Florida, on February 11th and cited for wireless communication while driving, first offense under the Florida statute of blah, 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 blah. Citation was issued by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office 8:04 a.m. and carried a $116 penalty. Deputy claimed he observed a handheld device while Katie was traveling northbound. Now, according to CBS 12, court records show the citation was dropped at the request of the county sheriff's office deputy who issued it. Court hearing has been scheduled for Tuesday, but it was canceled after the case was dismissed. Dismissal occurred after the viral saga had already racked up nearly 170 million views on Instagram and TikTok. This means Katie will no longer have to fight the ticket or pay any fines. It was posted on February 20th when the deputy was heard as saying, I saw a device in your right hand. That's when Katie pulls up the nub there.
Yeah. You pretty much let her go right there.
But shame on her. Shame on her.
For?
If she was texting and driving or had her device in her left hand and the officer just got the hands wrong.
But how could you drive? Like, how can you with your steering wheel?
Well, they have abilities to control with your steering wheel with non-hands.
I drive with my knees when I eat.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
What do you drive with when you text and eat?
I don't text and eat.
Yeah. But that's distracted driving too, by the way.
What, eating?
Eating and driving with your knees.
I mean, I don't drive long distances. Like
I see your point. Like if she really was texting and then making him feel bad by the fact that she's got a nub instead of a hand.
I got a right arm.
Yeah, no, just because, the guy said it was your right hand and you really had it in your left hand, and now you're going to create this commotion and get this thrown out because it was in your left hand and not right hand. That's the same situation as stealing to me.
Yeah.
It's the honor system.
And it's almost, is she a big influencer? Because it's almost like she drives around with that phone in her left hand, hoping she gets pulled over.
That's right.
When she does,
and
this
she has it on this side.
Yeah.
She has it on this side to where it looks like it's the right hand, hoping this would happen one time.
I can see it.
I mean, we had the guy several weeks ago in trash that shot someone with a gun that had the nubs.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm going to stick by shame on her because as an influencer, I think she was doing this for the clicks.
Looks a lot like Heidi Fleiss.
I could see the resemblance. Yeah.
Finally, saw this a couple of days ago. This crazy video. Paraglider has gone viral after surviving a mid-air collision with a small plane that tore through their parachute during a flight in Austria.
A small plane? But you're going to say bird.
No. The clip shows moments. A single-engine Cessna 172 ripped straight through the paraglider's parachute.
My God.
Sending them into a free fall. Immediately after the incident, the clip shows paraglider deploying an emergency reserve parachute, safely reaching the ground.
Boy, good reflexes by that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just natural instinct.
That really is.
Yeah. So at that, you probably always, if you do that for a living, you probably always have
hand on one.
Worst case scenario, what would happen?
Yeah,
I guess
the emergency pull.
hitting me is not the worst case scenario, but
you never see that coming. And what do you think with that kind of power, hit you.
Yeah,
that's
no.
what's so wild.
No, absolutely.
Boy, if you're paragliding in that container right there and a plane hits your chute, what do you think you leave behind in that container?
Well, no.
Once I get on the ground.
But Brown, he's okay, LT? Because
he's fine.
At some point, I mean, that's not a normal chute, so you're still going to come down pretty fast. And he's not going to be able to hit the ground with his legs.
Oh, no, look.
He's trying to get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, this guy heads up, man.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of the cocoon there.
Yeah.
That helps him with his gliding. He's catching his breath.
Boy, heads up by this old cat.
So this is unlike the woman with the knob. He's not the influencer and tried to get struck by the.
I think that's going to be hard, Lance.
I hope not, but
this is a woman, by the way.
Okay, that old girl
still,
heads up by her.
I was about to say something else, but still, even as a female, because you've got a harness that is strapping your legs are through a harness, and when that plane hits you, the jerk on your crotch area had to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
just being up there would have my balls tingling, as you know. Yeah. That was a given.
But God, we're still way up there, aren't we?
Yeah. It's going to take her a minute to get down. That's good, though. You want to come down as slow as possible. She's having trouble getting those legs out, though. I'm starting to get worried about her now. Cut to the chase here, Brooks. Does she survive?
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah. Oh,
hang on. Let's see the landing. All right, here we go.
Boy.
Oh, boy. I mean, she gets the legs out at the
look
last
at that
minute.
tree.
Whoa, she's coming in hot.
Oh.
Wow.
See, I think people that have never done this.
Look at her. Yeah. She's worn out, isn't she?
Those sunglasses are gone.
Look at her. Wow. Good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, she came in hot on that landing.
I think you all do. Always do.
Yeah.
Faster than you think it is.
Hey, I wonder if a bear just ate her right there. No. Think you survive all
you
that?
survive all that and get attacked by a grizzly.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that'd be. You knew it was your time. You get to heaven, St. Peter's is like welcoming you in. It's like, hey,
we tried once.
Yeah, I was trying not to come today, but apparently you guys needed me today because first the airplane, then the bear. Wow, and the bear didn't get me. I had a heart attack. Wow.
Daniel said she landed on the Virginia Tech scoreboard.
Yeah. All right, that's our trash today, and that's our show today. Thanks to all of the great folks who have been part of it, including Danny Kanell. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.